Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook. My Beast Has Unlimited Evolution. Chapter 41. The Vine Warrior who leads the 9th level actually has such a beast control. It seems that this is your confidence. Limo looked at all this and nodded lightly, but his expression slowly turned cold and said. But, Limo's words were still echoing in the air, and Xiaomo, who had been hiding in his arms, rushed out at high speed. Aurora, Flaming Claw. In an instant, Xiaomo had already appeared in front of Chong Sun Lei Ming, and the Vine Tree Warrior didn't even have time to react. Xiaomo's wolf claws burning with flames had forcibly broken through Chong Sun Lei Ming's protective barrier and penetrated his heart. Chang Sun Liming stared at Limo, blood constantly pouring out of his mouth, and finally fell powerlessly into a pool of blood. You really shouldn't have taken action against me. Limo looked indifferent and finally looked at Jia Li. This is really unexpected. Jia Li reluctantly twitched the corners of his mouth. I thought it was just a yellow bird. Unexpectedly, it turned into a Tyrannosaurus in an instant. It was also somewhat unexpected for him. But even so, I'm determined on the purple gold ore. A fierce look flashed across Jia Li's face. Green-tailed poisonous scorpion, venom splashes. The green-tailed poisonous scorpion opened its mouth slightly, and the purple venom was already spitting out. King Kong Crocodile, water waves. King Kong Crocodile King stepped forward, and a large amount of water flowed out. The two suddenly converged in midair. In the end, a wave of venom carrying extremely powerful impact was formed, surging towards Limo. Ancient Blue Wind Dragon, 7 blades in one. Xiaomo, roaring flames. All of a sudden, the wind raged and the flames surged. He directly hit the venom wave ahead. Boom! The moment the two collided, the entire battlefield was shaken with a loud bang. Spiritual magic, cutting blade. Jia Li dropped one hand, and a blade completely transformed by spiritual energy instantly cut through the sky. Don't think you are the only one who knows spiritual arts. Limo snorted coldly, reaching out with one hand. The huge illusory palm had completely grasped it in his hand, and finally squeezed it and broke apart. Xiaomo, great speed, flaming claws. The ancient blue wind dragon, use the power of the dragon with all your strength. Limo conveys the message with the voice of his heart. In an instant, the vigorous dragon's power began to gather, directly acting on the green-tailed poisonous scorpion. Aha! Xiaomo's figure was like a rainbow, appearing directly 3 meters behind the green-tailed poison scorpion. Boom! Raging flames burned on the green-tailed scorpion's body. The green-tailed poisonous scorpion kept rolling and wailing, and finally became completely silent. Diamond Crocodile King, bite to death. Jia Li's eyes widened and he shouted angrily. The King Kong Crocodile King rushed out quickly and approached Xiaomo in a very savage manner. Xiaomo, super magnification, flame claw. Xiaomo looked up to the sky and roared, and his body began to expand continuously. Under Jia Li's horrified eyes, it reached a height of dozens of feet, standing there like a mountain. Boom! Xiaomo's flaming claw directly embedded the Diamond Crocodile King into the ground. Roar! The King Kong Crocodile King was dripping with blood all over his body. He kept roaring to the sky and launched extremely ferocious attacks, but was driven into the ground again and again by Xiaomo. Finally, Xiaomo held down the struggling King Kong Crocodile King with one claw, and Huo Suiyong directly bit off its neck. How could it be? When Jia Li saw this scene, his face had turned extremely pale, and his eyes were full of despair. Although he still has a beast to control. But it was just his initial beast control, and there was no way it could be the opponent of this monster. Xiaomo, the flames are roaring, sending him off for the last journey. Limo conveyed in his heart. Boom! Xiaomo opened his mouth wide, and the terrifying flames, dozens of times larger than before, burned Jia Li to ashes. After finishing all this, Xiaomo slowly shrunk and returned to Limo's clothes. In its compact form, it can restore one's physical strength more quickly. This time, I really gained a lot. Limo walked to Zhao Dao's body first and took his space ring in his hand. In addition to a wide variety of resources, Zijin Mine is also among them. Immediately afterwards, Limo took stock of other gains. It has to be said that all 3 of them are geniuses. The harvest in this secret realm is also extremely huge. Limo's harvest this time, if you don't count the fire spirit fruit, it even exceeded the total since entering the secret realm. What is this? Li Mo took out a gray token from Jolly's space ring, and immediately scanned its attributes. Name 5-star spiritual tool Heavenly Thunder Order. Function manipulate the power of thunder. Status sealed. Energy required to break the seal Commander level Beast Core X10, Elite level Beast Core X20. Required for upgrading Sovereign level Beast Core times 10, Commander level Beast Core times 30, 1 pound of purple gold ore, Obsidian times 10, 1 pound of green iron sand, and Thunderstone times 1. Li Mo immediately provided the resources needed. Between flashes of light, the image of the originally dilapidated token has changed drastically. A series of incomprehensible words appeared on it. There were even traces of thunder floating on it. Li Mo took a deep breath and began to activate his spirit and energy, leaving his mark on the Heavenly Thunder Order. But then, Li Mo really felt a great effect. It was as if the Heavenly Thunder Order was resisting him. Is this a 5-star spiritual tool? Li Mo's eyes flickered slightly. He had heard of it too. Some high-level spiritual tools. They can no longer view it as weapons, but have given birth to their own spirituality. Even by some kind of chance. Spiritual tools can even give birth to life and become beasts. But today, I have to make you surrender to me no matter what. Li Mo's eyes condensed, and a large amount of spiritual energy began to pour into it. Gradually, Tianlei Ling's resistance became weaker and weaker, and Li Mo successfully became his master. Let me see your power. As soon as Li Mo thought, endless thunder surged out, and the area tens of meters in radius was reduced to ruins in an instant. The ancient blue wind dragon not far away was almost affected, and looked at Li Mo in shock. Such power! Li Mo's pupils shrank slightly as he looked at the damage caused by his use of the Sky Thunder token. Immediately afterwards, a feeling of weakness also spread throughout his body. Sure enough, a 5-star spiritual tool only has a small part of its power, and the consumption is extremely serious. Li Mo felt that more than half of the spiritual energy was consumed in his body, and shook his head with a wry smile. This is who he is. The spiritual energy is far beyond that of ordinary people. If it were another 3-star beast master, his spiritual energy would probably be drained instantly. But no matter what, I finally have another trump card. Even if I don't use the beast control in the future, with the help of the Sky Thunder Order, I still have the means to kill with one strike. Li Mo took a deep breath and put away the Sky Thunder token. I don't know where Jolly got this kind of thing. But in the end it was easier for him. Li Mo sat down cross-legged, and after fully recovering his spiritual energy, he set off again. A few days later, in the calm mountain forest, the sound of shaking continued to resound. The roars continued to resound through the sky. Several huge figures. Continuously walking through the woods. Name, Steel Storm Ape. Level, Commander of the 9th level. Talent, Copper Skin and Iron Bones. Attribute, Normal, Fighting. Bloodline, High Commander level. Skills, Brutal Iron Fist, Savage Crash, Whirlwind Kick. Li Mo rode the ancient blue wind dragon, looked down at the crazy steel apes, and the corners of his mouth twitched slightly. A few dozen minutes ago, he mistakenly entered the opponent's territory. He was directly pursued by them. Originally with Li Mo's strength. There's enough power to take them out. However, creatures like the Iron Tyrant Ape are notorious for seeking revenge, and they are also gregarious creatures. If you kill these steel apes yourself, I am afraid that I will be chased by hundreds of steel apes. In this secret realm, it's just too dangerous. Hey, Zhonglong, look, is that guy riding the dragon Li Mo? In the distance, a person looked at Li Mo in the sky and tugged on the cuff of the person next to him. Haha, that's the ancient blue wind dragon. That person is definitely Li Mo. This time the two of us are rich. The man named Zhonglong began to laugh. Brother Zhong, Li Mo's ancient blue wind dragon seems to be very powerful. Should we inform others? Qin Feng, you are really worthless. If you really want to inform others, so many 100 million people will share it equally. How much can we get? Don't worry, the opponent only has an ancient blue wind dragon on the table. As long as we are careful, we have a great chance of killing him. By then, that ancient blue wind dragon will belong to both of us. Okay, everything is up to you. Qin Feng gritted his teeth, and his eyes were gradually replaced by greed. The two of them moved forward cautiously. In their view, that direction represents money, but don't know. He might have invited death. Limo fell from the sky, looked at the steel apes going away, and sighed slightly. Instead, there is greater vigilance. This secret place is really too dangerous. In addition to such high-level beasts that live in groups, there definitely exist lord and even king-level beasts, but he has not encountered them yet. Suddenly, Limo's expression changed slightly, and he said loudly to the woods ahead, "We are already here, so stop being sneaky." Haha, it seems that you have the spiritual skills of perception and discovered us. Zhonglong led Qin Feng out of the woods and said jokingly, "It's really a pity. I originally planned to make you painless. Die." While talking, two beasts also walked out of the woods. Name: Earth Spirit Beast. Level: Commander of the 9th level. Talent: None. Attribute: Soil. Bloodline: Intermediate Commander level. Skills: Earth Confinement, Earth Burrowing, Rock Claws, Petrified Skin. Name: Yunlu. Level: Commander of the 9th level. Talent: None. Attribute: Normal. Bloodline: Intermediate Commander level. Skills: Distortion Ray, Flying Corner Collision, Triangle Kick. With these two things, do you want to kill me? A look of disdain appeared on Limo's lips. HMPH, aren't you just relying on an ancient blue wind dragon? Kill him, Earth Spirit Beast. Zhonglong said in his heart. In an instant, the Earth Spirit Beast had penetrated into the ground and headed in the direction of Limo. Limo immediately jumped on the ancient blue wind dragon, his expression full of calmness. This level of beast control. There was absolutely no threat to him. Click. The earth instantly cracked open, and the Earth Spirit Beast emerged from the earth. The sharp claws drawn by its eyes were already grabbing at Limo. But the next moment, a dragon's tail wrapped in the storm seemed to have been prepared for a long time, sweeping directly towards him. Boom! The rocky skin all over the body of the Earth Spirit Beast exploded instantly, and its body smashed a huge ancient tree in an instant. Yunlu, get close to him and hit him with flying horns. Qin Feng quickly told Yunlu to launch a sneak attack. Yunlu's speed is extremely fast. But in the blink of an eye, it was already within a foot of Limo. Aha! Immediately afterwards, everyone's eyes couldn't help but be confused. Xiaomo's figure has fallen in front of Limo. Yunlu stopped subconsciously and did not attack again. Ha ha ha, this is your other beast. Are you kidding? You raised it as a pet, right? Zhonglong looked at Xiaomo, who was only the size of a palm, and started laughing wildly. Now he was increasingly convinced of the accuracy of the intelligence. Limo in front of me. He was just a poor boy who was lucky enough to get the ancient blue wind dragon, and he didn't have the financial resources to train another beast. The Earth Spirit Beast is imprisoned by the earth. Under Zhonglong's order, the Earth Spirit Beast propped up its injured body and let countless rock chains completely bind the ancient blue wind dragon. Don't be stunned, kill this puppy, and then deal with the other party. Qin Feng also gave the order with a sinister smile on his face. Originally he was a little worried about the two of them dealing with Limo. Now he is completely relieved. Looking at Qin Feng, who was extremely contemptuous, Xiaomo also roared. As the cloud road attacked him, Xiaomo also released his pocket state, and his entire body instantly expanded to 2 meters away. Aha! Xiaomo crushed the ground with his feet. The entire body has flown out. So fast. Afterimages were left directly in midair. Brilliant speed. Xiaomo used the skill in midair, and his speed increased to another level. Seeing this scene, Qin Feng's expression changed drastically. Before he could react, Xiaomo's claw had already landed hard on Yunlu's body. Flame Claw. A large amount of blood splashed out from Yunlu's body, but it dried up and disappeared in an instant after being burned by the flames. Ouch! Yunlu let out a mournful cry, and his entire body fell to the ground. Click. The ancient blue wind dragon also broke away from the shackles of the earth at this time, staring at Qin Feng and the two with eager eyes. Kill them, the ancient blue wind dragon, 7 blades in 1. Limo gave the order with an indifferent expression. Aha! The 7 wind blades merge into 1. The astonishing sharpness completely tore apart everything in front of it. A look of panic appeared on Qin Feng's face, and a large amount of spiritual energy surged in his hands. Spiritual magic, wind movement. In an instant, Qin Feng's whole body swayed in waves, and his whole body floated up quickly, narrowly escaping the attack of the wind blade. But Zhao Long next to him does not have such strength. Together with his beast master, he was completely enveloped by the wind blade, and was eventually torn to pieces. Even when he was dead, Zhang Long's face was still extremely frightened. It seemed impossible to believe it. The transition between prey and hunter is so quick. Qin Feng's figure fell to the ground, and when he looked at Zhang Long's mangled body, he began to tremble violently. He was not angry because of Zhang Long's death, but because of fear. Next, how are you going to die? Li Mo stroked Xiao Mo's soft hair, his eyes were extremely cold. Asshole, don't think you've got me. Qin Feng roared angrily, raising one hand slightly, and a 5-pointed star array floated in front of him. A huge figure slowly walked out of it. Name: Iron Fist Demon Ape. Level: Commander of the 8th level. Talent: Cyborg. Attribute: Fighting. Bloodline: Low Lord level. Skills: 10,000 ton Iron Fist, Fighting Trio, Close Back Throw. Boom, boom. The Iron Fist Demon Ape took 2 steps in a row, and the terrifying power made the earth tremble. Xiao Mo, I'll leave this guy to you to deal with. Li Mo smiled softly and said to Xiao Mo, it should be enough to warm up. Speaking from my heart, the strength of this Iron Fist Demon Ape is not weak. But compared to Xiao Mo, there is still a qualitative difference. Ouch! Xiao Mo screamed and his figure rushed towards the Iron Fist Demon Ape. Bang! Bang! The Iron Fist Demon Ape beat his chest with both hands, and punched out like a violent storm. Every fist pierced the sky. There will be ripples in the air all around. Xiao Mo's figure suddenly stopped, and in a flash, he appeared behind the Iron Fist Demon Ape. But the Iron Fist Demon Ape reacted very quickly. He turned around quickly, and his big hand, like a small millstone, was already grabbing at Xiao Mo. That's right, Iron Fist Demon Ape, just grab him and use triple fighting skills to tear him into pieces. Qin Feng had a hideous smile on his face. Xiao Mo, compress, the flames roar. Li Mo said in his heart. Xiao Mo opened his mouth gently, and a large amount of flames began to condense in his mouth, but they did not burst out immediately but continued to condense. This is a new move that Li Mo has been asking Xiao Mo to try. It compresses the power of the flame to the extreme, and finally bursts out in an instant, increasing the attack power to the extreme. Boom! A beam of flame burst out from Xiao Mo's mouth, instantly melting the Iron Fist Demon Ape's fists completely, and finally penetrated its heart. A burning atmosphere filled the whole place. How could such a thing happen? Qin Feng looked at this scene, his legs were already trembling. The Iron Fist Demon Ape, whom he regarded as his trump card, was killed by Xiao Mo in just a few breaths. How could this not surprise him? And in the next moment, Qin Feng saw Xiao Mo's extremely cold eyes. I only felt my scalp numb for a while. Xiao Mo's eyes. He seemed to feel the gaze of death. Next moment, Qin Feng turned around and ran away without hesitation. But before he ran very far, he felt a sharp pain coming from behind him, and his body was pinned to the ground by Xiao Mo. Now tell me the information you know. Li Mo stepped forward slowly, looking at Qin Feng with eyes full of indifference. Please, please, I can tell you anything, please spare my life. Qin Feng's expression was distorted and he kept wailing. Li Mo did not speak, but the force on Xiao Mo's claws became heavier and heavier. Qin Feng became more and more miserable, with tears streaming down his face and his face becoming more and more distorted. He could no longer care about negotiating terms and said quickly, in addition to the two of us, there are some people who are all trying to put a reward on you. I know their location. They are. Thank you for the information. Li Mo nodded gently. Next moment, Xiao Mo suddenly exerted force. Qin Feng's entire chest had been trampled to pieces, and he died instantly. Ouch! After finishing the battle, Xiao Mo shouted, and his figure began to shrink rapidly, returning to Li Mo's chest. Since possessing this skill, it already likes this feeling. Li Mo's embrace made it feel very comfortable. You guy. Li Mo stroked Xiao Mo's head and shook his head lovingly. The ancient blue wind dragon looked at this scene and subconsciously looked at his huge body, with some envy in his eyes. Let's go, ancient blue wind dragon. You've heard the location that guy mentioned just now. Let's go deal with those guys. Li Mo's body jumped and landed on the ancient blue wind dragon, his eyes flashing with cold light. For guys who want to make their own decisions. He would never let them go. Night fell silently. A group of people were sitting around a campfire. Yi Li, now that most of us have arrived, why don't you stop pretending and tell us how to find Li Mo? Yeah, I don't want to take too long. Listening to the chatter of several people, the man named Yi Li waved his hand and said, "Everyone, please be patient. Although there are still 2 people left, it should be enough." While he was talking, a big dog-like beast came out from behind Yi Li. Name, Flame Dog. Level, Commander of the 9th level. Talent, Tracking. Attribute, Fire. Bloodline, Intermediate Commander level. Skills, Flame Spray, Flame Wheel, Divine Speed. The talent of my Flame Dog is Tracking. As long as you have the items used by Li Mo, you will never be able to escape from its nose even if you are thousands of miles away. As for the items, I have already prepared them. While talking, Yi Li took out a wooden block from his arms. This is when he sneaked into city number 1 middle school. Obtain a corner of the desk used by Li Mo. Well, it seems you have made a lot of preparations. In this case, when are we going to take action? That's right, I can't wait any longer. And since we are so destined, how about we work together for the subsequent assessments? Haha, that's exactly what I meant. If we join forces, even the top geniuses will never be our opponents. Listening to the discussion happening around him, Yi Li shook his head and said, "We'll talk about other things later. We'll start taking action early tomorrow morning." As soon as he finished speaking, the flame dog beside him sniffed his nose and howled uneasily. What, is Li Mo's aura nearby? Yi Li suddenly stood up from the ground, his eyes constantly scanning the surroundings. Next moment, his pupils shrank slightly. All I could see was the darkness of night. A huge figure is falling from the sky. This is the real dragon clan, the ancient blue wind dragon. The owner of this beast is self-evident. The number is really quite large. It seems that I have not come to the wrong place. Li Mo rode on the ancient blue wind dragon, looking down at everyone from a high position, with murderous intent flashing in his eyes. Hey, isn't this Li Mo? How brave he is. One person sneered and said in a sarcastic tone. It's true that you can't find anything without wearing iron shoes. It takes no effort to get it. We haven't gone to find you yet, and you just brought it to your door yourself. Stop talking nonsense here. Li Mo shook his head indifferently and patted Xiao Mo in his arms. Xiao Mo stretched out, jumped out of Li Mo's arms, transformed into a 2-meter-long figure again, and assumed a fighting posture. I'll leave these guys to you, Xiao Mo. Li Mo said slowly. The number of people in front of me is slightly too large. So Li Mo is going to let the ancient blue wind dragon protect his safety. I will only assist Xiao Mo when necessary. Ha ha ha, it's really scary to want a wind-chasing wolf to deal with us. A man stepped forward with a look of contempt on his face and said, "Don't take action, leave it to me. It's solved. Come out, 6-tailed fire fox." As soon as the man finished speaking, a slender fiery red fox with a tail jumped out. Name, 6-tailed firefox. Level, Commander of the 6th level. Talent, None. Attribute, Fire. Bloodline, Intermediate Commander level. Skills, Flame Vortex, 6-tailed Demon Fire, Disguise, Charm. The 6-tailed fire fox had just appeared, and had opened its mouth slightly, and a large amount of flames burst out crazily. Flame Vortex. The swirling flames completely enveloped Xiao Mo, and the surrounding ground was even more scorched. You can have extra food tonight. I don't know how the roasted wolf meat tastes. The man smiled proudly and looked at Li Mo with a sinister look. But the next moment, his smile froze on his face. I only saw Xiao Mo's figure slowly walking out of the large amount of whirlpool flames. His figure stood tall on the ground, and his hair was not damaged at all by the flames, but instead looked even more majestic. Like the Wolf King from above, he looked down at everything indifferently. As a great sun Sirius who controls the fire of the sun, Xiao Mo has extremely high resistance to flames. In addition, the power of the 6-tailed fire fox is far inferior to it. Want to use fire to deal with it? It's really whimsical. Xiao Mo, you are so fast. Li Mo said in his heart. As Xiao Mo exerted his strength on his limbs, his entire body sprang out quickly. A distance of tens of meters. For Xiao Mo, who used the speed. But it is fleeting. No one expected that Xiaomo would ignore the six-tailed fire fox's flames and move so fast. Click. The sound of broken bones was heard. Not even using skills. The neck of the six-tailed fire fox has been bitten off by Xiaomo. A large amount of blood filled Xiaomo's wolf mouth. Xiaomo shook off the lifeless six-tailed fire fox and stared at everyone in front of him with cold eyes. At this moment, the whole place was silent. The power shown by Xiaomo. It has deeply shocked everyone. The strength of this beast has actually reached the command level. He is definitely not a wind-chasing wolf, but another beast controller with a similar appearance but a more advanced bloodline. Everyone looked at Xiaomo and reacted immediately. With the power of chasing the wind wolf, I want to deal with the six-tailed fire fox like this. It's simply impossible. Everyone come together. Don't give Limo a chance. Yi Li spoke quickly at this time, realizing that Xiaomo's strength is extraordinary. If you dare to be careless again. He was really kidding with his life. Kill him, the vine monster. Come on, blood bat. The two people were the first to react and commanded their beasts one after another. Name, demonic ivy monster. Level, commander of the 8th level. Talent, none. Attribute, wood. Bloodline, intermediate commander level. Skills, poison ivy, paralysis powder, flying leaf knife. Name, blood bat. Level, commander of the 9th level. Talent, none. Attribute, wind. Bloodline, high commander level. Skills, fierce storm, wing strike, noise. Flying leaf knife. Stormy wind. The demon vine monster and the blood bat took action one after another. Sharp blades cut through the sky. A terrifying storm swept across the entire place. Get away quickly, Xiaomo. Limo said calmly. Xiaomo's figure immediately flashed rapidly, like a ghost, and he easily dispelled the two attacks. And at this time, the ground behind Limo split apart, and a figure was already shooting towards him. Name, fang-toothed rat. Level, elite 9th level. Talent, none. Attribute, normal. Pedigree, high elite level. Skills, iron incisors, ground burrowing, flying hair needles. The dragon flicks its tail. Facing the sneak attack of the fanged rat, the ancient blue wind dragon seemed to have expected it, and the dragon tail wrapped around the hurricane had already swung out. Boom! The ancient blue wind dragon's dragon tail hit the fangshu's body hard, slamming it to the ground and smashing it into a puddle of mud. Xiaomo, compress, roar with flames. Limo's expression remained unchanged, directing Xiaomo's battle. Xiaomo roared, and the red flame beam had cut through the sky, falling directly on a person's body like a sharp sword, completely penetrating it. What? Everyone was shocked. I didn't expect Xiaomo's attack to be so sharp. Don't worry about Limo for now. This beast must be dealt with first, otherwise everyone will be in danger. Everyone looked at Xiaomo with a bit of horror. Xiaomo is cruel. All of them felt threatened. Next moment, 5-pointed star arrays began to emerge on the earth. Various beasts have been summoned by their masters. Attacks of various attributes, like a violent storm. It shrouded in Xiaomo's direction. Xiaomo, charge up your strength and dodge quickly. Xiaomo's body glowed with bursts of white light, and the aura on his body began to become more terrifying. Aha, aha, aha. His speed reached another level, and while dodging all the attacks, his figure had already arrived in front of the demonic vine monster. Fire-broken teeth. Xiaomo bit directly on the body of the demonic vine monster, and the endless flames surged, directly burning the demonic vine monster into pieces. After solving this beast, Xiaomo didn't hesitate at all and continued the attack without hesitation. Xiaomo's speed was extremely fast, not to mention a beast master. Even a large number of beasts cannot react at all. Laugh, laugh, laugh. Xiaomo's figure flashed past the blood bat. Boom. Terrifying flames exploded from the blood bat's body, eventually covering it completely. The blood bat howled in pain, and finally fell to the ground weakly, gradually becoming silent. The ancient blue wind dragon, elemental amplification, storm blade. Limo saw that the time was ripe and patted the ancient blue wind dragon on the head. In an instant, the wings of the ancient blue wind dragon began to flap, and endless winds raged. Wind blades continuously cut the air, sweeping in all directions. At this moment, whether it was the Beastmaster or Yili and others, they all became in a hurry. There are even some beasts to control. There was no time to dodge. It had been completely split into two by the wind blade. All of a sudden, everyone was in chaos. Xiaomo, kill wantonly. Li Mo gave the order with a cold face. Aha, aha, aha. Xiaomo's figure kept flashing everywhere on the battlefield. Almost every occurrence of it. It will take away the life of one person or the beast master. Time passes slowly. The entire battlefield has become a river of blood. Monster. What on earth is going on with this monster? Li Mo is really a poor student. How could he have such a terrifying beast? As Xiaomo continued to kill, this group formed for profit finally fell apart completely. The remaining people began to recall the beasts and fled without hesitation. But this way, it just accelerated their death. Facing Xiaomo's pursuit, they had no resistance at all. Rapid attrition began. Finally, after Xiaomo came back with a corpse in his mouth. On the entire battlefield, only Yi Li is still alive. What, aren't you ready to run? Li Mo stared at Yi Li, his eyes flickering slightly. I'm not like those idiots. Running away will only make me die faster. Yi Li closed the eyes of the flame wolf that had lost its vitality, his eyes were full of indifference and said. Although I formed this alliance just in case, I didn't expect that you would be so powerful. Now I really regret that I would provoke a guy like you for money. So, what are you going to do? Li Mo raised his eyebrows slightly. Even if I beg you for mercy now, I'm afraid you won't agree. Yi Li clenched his fists and said. So now, no matter what the price, I will kill you. As soon as Yi Li's words fell, a 5-pointed star array emerged on the ground. An extremely ferocious aura instantly filled the air. A huge creature with blood-red body had appeared on the battlefield. Name, Blood Spirit Lion. Level, Commander of the 9th level. Talent, Blood Surge. Attribute, Normal. Bloodline, High Lord level. Skills, Blood Splitting Claw, Lion Roar, Death Raid. I didn't expect you to have such a mastery of beasts, but with this, do you want to deal with me? Li Mo looked at the attributes of the Blood Spirit Lion and sketched a mocking smile. Of course I know this, Blood Greyhound, the blood is surging. The blood vessels all over the Blood Spirit Lion's body were exposed, a large amount of blood was flowing rapidly, and the aura on his body was also rising steadily. Spiritual arts, the same lifespan. Yi Li gritted his teeth, but a very ominous aura erupted from his body, shrouding the Blood Spirit Lion, and strands of white hair emerged on his head. At this moment, the Blood Spirit Lion's expression seemed to be extremely painful. But extremely violent momentum burst out from his body. Even the surrounding air, they all began to show bursts of blood. Look, this power was obtained at the cost of the lifespan of me and the Blood Spirit Lion. Feeling the increasingly terrifying aura of the Blood Spirit Lion, Yi Li's expression was full of distortion, and the eyes he looked at Li Mo were filled with utter hatred. If not this person, he doesn't need to pay such a huge price. I didn't expect you to have such a hidden skill. It's really beyond my expectation. Li Mo looked slightly surprised. The breath of the Blood Spirit Lion at this time. It was enough to pose a threat to Xiaomo. Ouch! Xiaomo stared at the Blood Spirit Lion in front of him and let out an excited roar. This kind of opponent can pose a huge threat to him. It has not been encountered for a long time. How could it not be excited by this? Since you are so happy, I'll leave it to you. Li Mo also smiled softly when he saw this scene. His true intention, he wanted the ancient blue wind dragon to cooperate. Resolve each other more quickly and stably. But since Xiaomo was like this, he chose to respect its idea. Roar, roar. The Blood Spirit Lion looked at Xiaomo's actions, as if he was provoked, and began to roar crazily. The momentum all over his body exploded crazily, as if countless bloody waves were constantly sweeping in all directions. The Blood Spirit Lion's footsteps moved forward slowly. The vigorous pressure continued to crush Xiaomo. Death Raid. Next moment, the Blood Spirit Lion moved, as if he was catching prey. His entire body was wrapped in blood-colored brilliance, and he was biting and killing Xiaomo. Xiaomo, be quick and avoid it. Xiaomo's figure flashed and he decided to avoid the Blood Spirit Lion's attack. Blood Spirit Lion, the Lion King roars. The Blood Spirit Lion turned around quickly, a blood-like light emanating from its mouth, and a blood-like shock wave erupted. Xiaomo, compress, roar with flames. Xiaomo took a deep breath, and the terrifying crimson light pillar spurted out, heading towards the bloody shock wave. Boom, The two collided violently in midair. The roaring sound that shook the earth resounded. Hurricanes swept in all directions. The blood spirit lion and Xiaomo grabbed the ground with both claws and moved backwards. 4 deep ravines appeared above the earth. This attack between the two people was clearly evenly matched. Fire Attribute Addition. Li Mo squeezed the seal with his hand, and as the spiritual energy surged in his hand, dark red light was directly attached to Xiaomo's body. Boom! A violent momentum burst out from Xiaomo's body. The hair all over his body was even faintly red. You actually have the spiritual skills to enhance the power of controlling beasts. Yi Da was shocked, and an unspeakable fear rose in his heart. Ouch! Xiaomo looked at the blood spirit lion with a cold expression, like a lone wolf who had discovered its prey. Aha! Xiaomo's figure flew out very quickly. Even because the power is too strong. The earth is constantly cracking apart. Immediately afterwards, Xiaomo's figure had turned into a rainbow, which turned out to be the aurora. The strength has reached the level of Xiaomo. You can already master the aurora skill initially. His speed now, it has reached an incredible level. Even Li Mo's psychic perception couldn't capture the movement trajectory. And Yi Li and the blood spirit lion. There was no reaction at all. Fire-broken teeth. Xiaomo opened his mouth slightly, and terrifying flames rose above his teeth. Phew! Xiaomo bit the blood spirit lion's body, and the terrifying flames instantly broke through his body's defense. Roar! At this moment, the blood spirit lion reacted and let out a painful cry. The blood greyhound wanted to fight back. But Xiaomo had already taken away a large piece of his flesh and blood and stayed 10 meters away from it. Xiaomo spat out the flesh and blood in his mouth that had long since turned into charcoal, his eyes still not leaving the blood spirit lion. Next moment, Xiaomo launched another attack. The result is exactly the same as before. With the blood spirit lion not reacting at all, the flame-burning claws left 3 hideous scars on his body. Aha! 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 Xiaomo continued to attack the blood spirit lion. A large number of wounds appeared on the body of the blood spirit lion. Suffered such heavy losses one after another. The blood color all over the blood spirit lion's body has completely faded. The breath on his body began to wane quickly. In the end, Xiaomo bit his neck and completely took away his life. No, I definitely don't want to die in a place like this. Seeing the death of the blood spirit lion, Yi Li went completely crazy and summoned his last beast without hesitation. Name: Wood King Bee. Level: First level of command. Talent: None. Attribute: Insect. Bloodline: Low level commander. Skills: Poison Needle, Silk Spinning, Flying Combo. Block him, Wooden King Bee. Lin Li roared angrily, and while letting the Wooden King Bee attack, he also staggered around and ran away. A meaningless struggle, Li Mo said silently. Deal with them, the ancient blue wind dragon, the breath of the dragon. The ancient blue wind dragon immediately opened its mouth, and a stream of dragon breath spurted out, completely submerging Wood King Bee and Lin Li in an instant, and bombarding their bodies to pieces. Ouch! Xiaomo let out a long roar, and his figure became stronger under the moonlight, making him look even more majestic. After a series of battles, Xiaomo finally successfully advanced again. Sure enough, this level of fighting is the fastest way to grow. Seeing this scene, Li Mo smiled. As the date for the end of the assessment gets closer and closer, the battle is definitely becoming more and more fierce. The stronger Xiaomo becomes, the more confident he becomes. Next, Li Mo began to take stock of the harvest. A full 7 or 8 people died in his hands this time. Their space ring is also very rich in precious resources. Sure enough, compared to finding resources by yourself, this method is the fastest. Li Mo looked at the densely packed space rings in his hand and showed a sigh of relief. I just don't know, what kind of gains do the top geniuses have? Li Mo looked into the distance, a sharp look flashed in his eyes. A few days later, Li Mo rode the ancient blue wind dragon and shuttled slowly through the woods. Li Mo used his spiritual power to observe the surrounding situation, with a smile on his lips. I remember when I first entered the wild. Still cautious everywhere. And now, under the dual protection of the ancient blue wind dragon and Xiaomo, he could finally relax a little. But that's how things are. Usually when you are in a good mood, someone will ruin the scenery. Just at this time, the trees in front of them collapsed one after another, and people and animals were already running in this direction. Name: one-horned ice horse. Level: commander of the 6th level. Talent: none. Attribute: ice. Bloodline: low-level commander. Skills: ice thorn, one-horned collision, stepping on ice and snow. Limo frowned, but before he could react, the man on the one-horned ice horse had already shouted loudly. Stay out of the way. In an instant, a thorn of ice had already broken through the air towards him. You are looking for death. A cold light flashed in Limo's eyes and he said, 3 blades combined into one. Roar. The ancient blue wind dragon looked up to the sky and roared. Endless winds raged. The 3 wind blades had quickly fused, tearing apart the ice thorn with ease. What? The man was immediately frightened. Looking at the unabated wind blade, he immediately jumped up. Phew. Blood burst out. The body of the one-horned ice horse was split into 2 without any suspense. Ah 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 ah. The man kept wailing. Although he had just escaped the attack, he also paid a miserable price with a leg. Classmate. Misunderstanding. It was all a misunderstanding just now. After reacting, the man could no longer care about the pain and immediately began to beg for mercy. Really, no matter how I look at you, you always want to kill me. A cold light flashed in Limo's eyes, and his hands of nothingness had completely lifted the man up and said, Tell me about it, you look like you are running away. Feeling that all the bones in his body were being squeezed, the man showed a look of horror on his face and said quickly. Yes, it's Huang Wufang and Wang Shanlin. Originally, a group of us were fighting for the mysterious grass of life and death, but they suddenly appeared. Almost everyone was killed by them. I escaped by luck. Xuansao. Limo's eyes lit up. The so-called mysterious grass of life and death. It is a very precious healing elixir. Even if it cannot kill human flesh and bones, it will definitely not be too different. Tell me the location. Limo asked a little excitedly. Over there, about 1,000 meters away. The man pointed in a direction with some difficulty. Oh, thank you so much. Limo nodded lightly, and with a sudden force of his void hand, all the bones in the man's body had burst, completely losing the breath of life. How dare this person attack him like that? Limo had no intention of letting him go. Limo took off the man's space ring, took a cursory look at the contents inside, and then put it away very casually. Today, he can be said to be extremely rich. Ordinary things are no longer worthy of his affection. Only things like Xuansao would make him pay attention to it. Let's go, ancient blue wind dragon, let's join in the fun. Limo gently patted the ancient blue wind dragon's back, with a flash of fighting intent in his eyes. Next moment, the ancient blue wind dragon's wings shook, carrying Limo soaring into the sky, and the mighty dragon power swept the world. Now that this secret realm assessment is coming to an end, of course he must seize the opportunity. A good fight. In a dense jungle, here at this time, it has completely become a battlefield. All around were broken tree branches, and in all directions, all were scattered corpses. Some are beasts, and some are humans. Throughout the battlefield, only the centermost ground is perfectly intact. A grass that is extremely green and exudes vitality is growing there. This is obviously Xuansao. Not far away from him, 2 figures were facing each other from a distance. Surprisingly, it was Wang Shanlin and Huang Wufang. Beside them, stood the golden-haired lion roar beast and the poison king. Now that all these losers are dead, it's our turn. Wang Shanlin stared at Huang Wufang. Okay, let me tell you whether you, as the #1 genius in Dai City, are worthy of your reputation. Huang Wufang looked indifferent, and the spiritual energy in his body continued to surge. As soon as Huang Wufang's words fell, the golden-haired roar beast and the poison king roared one after another. A terrifying momentum rose into the sky, colliding continuously in midair. Just when the war was about to break out, both Huang Wufang and Huang frowned slightly and subconsciously looked in one direction. Distant weather. The extremely vigorous dragon power suppressed all directions, and the terrifying sense of oppression continued to press down. As this dragon's power becomes more and more intense, a figure riding a dragon was approaching quickly. Limo. The 2 people looked at the figure and immediately recognized Limo's identity. I really didn't expect that he would come to join in the fun. Wang Shanlin had a look of arrogance on his face. He had contact with Limo, but it was just a simple test. Now the end of the assessment is approaching. He didn't mind doing it again. I came just in time, I will definitely defeat you this time. Huang Wufeng also clenched his fists, and the scene of losing to Li Mo seemed like yesterday. Boom! The ancient blue wind dragon suddenly landed on the ground, and violent wind pressure swept in all directions. Li Mo's figure also jumped down from the ancient blue wind dragon, and said with a smile, "It's been a long time, you two. Indeed, it is fate that we meet here. It seems that you are also interested in Shengxuansao. In that case, let's each rely on our own abilities." Wang Shanlin crossed his arms and said in a calm tone. "Yes, it is a good thing for the three of us to decide the winner here." Huang Wufeng looked indifferent, but his eyes looking at Li Mo were filled with unconcealable fighting intent. "That's what I intend to fight with you two here." Li Mo smiled calmly and said to Xiao Mo from the bottom of his heart, "I'll leave the two of them to you." As soon as Li Mo's words fell, Xiao Mo's figure has emerged from Li Mo's arms, and his figure continues to grow in midair, and finally turns into a giant wave 2 meters in length, exuding an endless ferocious aura. "Aren't you going to let the ancient blue wind dragon take action against the two of us?" Huang Wufeng raised his eyebrows slightly, with a somewhat surprised look on his face. After all, it is within his knowledge. Li Mo's strongest beast is the pure-blooded ancient blue wind dragon. "Don't worry, I will never let you two down," Li Mo said softly. "Xiao Mo, gather your strength." The white light on Xiao Mo's body flashed. The pressure of his own overlord-level bloodline finally broke out without any concealment. At this moment, whether it was Huang Wufeng or Wang Shanlin, their expressions all changed. It was at this moment that they realized they had made a big mistake. Li Mo's strongest beast in front of him was definitely not an ancient sky dragon, but this wolf with an obviously ridiculously high bloodline. Next moment, Xiao Mo has already flew out quickly. The figure left a trail of afterimages in midair. The sharp wolf claws easily tore apart the air in Suzhou completely. The poisonous king, entangled in hundreds of poisons. Golden roar beast, supersonic. In an instant, following the two men's orders, a shock wave that destroyed everything ripped through the sky. Tentacles that were like purple mud shrouded Xiao Mo. Although the two have no intention of joining forces. But the two beasts attacked. But it's also very appropriate. A decisive situation was formed. When Li Mo saw this scene, his expression did not change at all. He just pressed the seal with his hand and gently clicked, Fire Attribute Addition. In an instant, Xiao Mo's whole body became more violent. The hair on his body seemed to be burning with flames. Compressed, roaring flames. Xiao Mo opened his mouth wide, and the crimson pillar of flames spurted out, wiping out the combined attacks of the two people in front. Huang Wufeng were both stunned when they saw this scene. Didn't expect that at all. The attack of two beasts. It was actually cracked by Xiao Mo so lightly. "Xiao Mo, you are so fast," Li Mo ordered with an indifferent expression. "Aha!" Xiao Mo's figure shot out quickly, and because the speed was so fast, it actually caused bursts of sonic booms. The golden-haired lion roaring beast, imprisoned by the wind. Wang Shanlin's expression changed drastically. He could no longer care about anything else and quickly ordered from his heart. The golden-haired roar beast looked up to the sky and roared, and the terrifying sound waves shook the sky. Endless strong winds swept across at this time. He found Xiao Mo's location easily. These strong winds quickly twisted and condensed, turning into a cage visible to the naked eye, trapping Xiao Mo directly in it. But even so, it just blocked Xiao Mo for a moment. Just looking at the blazing flames on Xiao Mo's claws, stroking each other, the prison of wind has been completely torn apart. "Xiao Mo, the fire of the sun," Li Mo ordered coldly. He knows deeply, facing characters like Huang Wufeng, the best way is to fight quickly. If you continue to struggle, who knows what cards they have to come back. Ouch! Xiao Mo let out an excited roar, and the surrounding temperature began to rise rapidly. Golden flames burned on his body and continued to spread in all directions. Wherever the flame passes, the earth turned into magma in an instant, and was eventually burned up, as if it had never appeared. Feel the fire of Xiao Mo's sun. No matter it is the Poison King, or the Golden Retriever Roar Beast. They all became restless, roaring in low voices, and even a look of fear flashed through their eyes. What is the bloodline of this beast? Sensing the uneasiness of their own beast masters, Huang Wufang and the others also changed their expressions, and an unpleasant feeling arose in their bodies. And right now, Xiaomo opened his mouth slightly, and the golden sun fire spurted out like a tide, completely covering the two beasts. Boom! Golden flames exploded. It seemed to burn everything around it. Two shrill wails resounded continuously in the flames. Wait until the dust settles. The land ahead has turned into nothingness. The miserable-looking Poison King and the golden-haired Roar Beast also lay on the ground with dejected expressions. They had burns all over their bodies. The breath was even weaker to the extreme. As if he could die at any time. Come back, Poison King. Golden-haired Roarman, go back. Following two anxious shouts, two five-pointed star arrays appeared under the two beast masters, directly taking them back into the beast master space. As two of the top geniuses, there should be other beast masters. Can you let me see them? As soon as Li Mo finished speaking, the sun's fire surrounding Xiaomo began to become more violent, and the surrounding temperature was also rising. Huang Wufang and the other two saw this scene. His face also became uncertain for a while. The facts are indeed as Li Mo said. They have other powerful beast masters. But compared to the Poison King and the Golden Roar Beast, there are insurmountable gaps. Both of them were severely injured by the opponent's blow, and the remaining beasts summoned were just destined to die. What, you two, aren't you going to summon a new beast? Li Mo looked cold and stern. Xiaomo walked forward very cooperatively. Xiaomo basically takes every step. The overwhelming pressure surged toward the two of them like a tide. Huang Wufang and the two subconsciously stepped back. Look at Xiaomo. It was as if he was looking at some wild beast. This time, I lost. See you later. Wang Shanlin was silent for a moment, and after taking a deep look at Li Mo, he summoned two beasts and slowly retreated. I really didn't expect that my defeat at your hands this time would be so clean and tidy. Huang Wufang smiled bitterly and followed suit. He summoned the only two beasts left. Under their protection, he kept attacking. Stay away from here. Li Mo sensed that the two people disappeared under the range of his psychic perception, and shook his head gently. Let Xiaomo lift the state of sun fire. The power of the sun's fire is simply too terrifying. Even if Xiaomo has grown to this point, it is impossible to use it for a long time. Therefore, Li Mo didn't kill him and let these two geniuses die here. After all, if two people fight back on the verge of death, God knows what kind of trump card they will come up with. Li Mo looked at the corpses around him with a smile on his face. These are also considered his trophies. Huang Wufang and Huang were facing each other, and they had absolutely no energy left to get the space ring, so they all took advantage of him. Li Mo stretched out one hand, and the hand of nothingness kept stretching out. He had already captured dozens of corpses around him. After all the belongings on these corpses were swept away, Li Mo went to the Shengxuan grass and picked it. As soon as the Shengxuan Sao fell into his hands, the vigorous vitality had completely enveloped Li Mo's whole body. Li Mo only felt that the pores all over his body were stretched, and the fatigue of the past few days was swept away. It is indeed a high-end treasured resource. Just a little contact with it can have such an effect. Li Mo sighed in admiration, carefully picked up a special box, packed it, and put it into his space ring. This kind of thing. It can definitely save lives in critical moments. After taking stock of the harvest, Li Mo left the place without hesitation. The time for the end of the assessment is getting closer and closer. He had to hurry up. Get as much wealth as possible. A few days later, Li Mo walked through the woods and picked all the spiritual fruits he encountered. Of course he didn't travel very far. Li Mo discovered something was wrong. Because along the way, I encountered too many corpses of beasts. This also made Li Mo couldn't help but be careful. Because he can see it. These beasts were not killed by humans at all, but were caused by fighting each other to the death. There is only one reason for this. That's what's ahead. Is there something attracting them? It made them crazy and started fighting subconsciously. Li Mo moved forward carefully. Put all the corpses of the beasts you encounter into the space ring. As Li Mo gradually deepens, there are more and more corpses of beasts being seen. Even large areas of the ground were stained red with blood. But at this moment, a strong fragrance came. In an instant, Li Mo only felt refreshed. It was as if every cell in his body was exuding vitality. So far apart, even the fragrance has such magical effects. What kind of treasure is it? Li Mo whispered to himself, but no longer hesitated, and jumped directly on the back of Taikukang Fanglong, directing him to rush on with all his strength. Such a treasure, perhaps more precious than the fire spirit fruit. He was not prepared to miss it no matter what. As the fragrance becomes more and more intense, I could only see faintly colorful lights flickering between the sky and the earth in front of me. This is an extremely precious treasure of genius that will only appear when it is about to mature. At this time, countless flying beasts also realized the approach of the ancient blue wind dragon and began to launch extremely crazy attacks. Get out of my way, ancient sky dragon, elemental amplifier, storm blade. The ancient blue wind dragon flapped its wings, and endless hurricanes rippled between heaven and earth, and wind blades instantly cut through the sky. Countless beasts were even split into two. At this moment, the sky seemed to be raining blood. Countless beasts who dared to block Li Mo's steps died on the spot. But that comes with it. But it is an increasingly crazier beast. Xiao Mo, let's take action together. Li Mo called out Xiao Mo in his arms. Xiao Mo let out a long roar, and his figure began to grow rapidly. He stepped on the back of the ancient blue wind dragon, and roars of flames spurted out continuously. With the combined efforts of the two, Li Mo began to move forward at an alarming speed. Deep in the jungle, on a fruit tree, these two colorful fruits are hanging on it. But right in front of the fruit tree, a heroic woman wearing men's clothing stood on the ground. This woman turned out to be Johanny. Not far in front of her, two beasts were fighting to the death with other beasts. Name: Colorful Fantasy Butterfly. Level: Commander of the 8th level. Talent: Fantasy. Attribute: Poison. Bloodline: Low-level Monarch level. Skills: Paralyzing Poison Powder, Telekinesis, Whirlwind Blade, Phantom Clone. Name: Diamond Rhinoceros. Level: Commander of the 5th level. Talent: None. Attribute: Steel. Bloodline: Low-level Monarch level. Skills: Earth Blast, Explosive Fist Pressure, Taishan Pressure, Iron Skin. Although the two beasts were of good blood, they continued to retreat in the face of the continuous attacks of the beasts, and their living space was compressed. This can't go on like this. Johanny bit his teeth lightly and looked back at the two fruits that were about to ripen, with a hint of unwillingness flashing in his eyes. She came here by chance. I have been waiting for these two fruits to mature. Now it has been up to an hour to resist the crazy attack of these beasts. If not, the recovery items are sufficient. I am afraid that my two beasts have already been defeated. But even so, the form is not optimistic either. She wasn't sure. Can you hold on until the moment when the fruit matures? But at this moment, endless strong winds were raging between heaven and earth. The mighty dragon's power filled the entire sky. Looking leisurely, the sky in the distance was already blood red. It seemed like endless rain of blood was falling between heaven and earth. Only a figure was seen riding a dragon, and it was Li Mo. It turned out to be Johanny. Li Mo looked at the beautiful figure and couldn't help being slightly stunned. He didn't expect to meet Johanny under such circumstances. But when his eyes fell on the two fruits on the tree, his expression was greatly shocked. Name: Tianling Fruit. Efficacy: Change the situation, improve qualifications, and greatly improve physical fitness. I didn't expect it to be the Tianling Fruit. Li Mo's face showed a look of ecstasy that could not be concealed. The Tianling Fruit is definitely something that drives all the beast masters crazy. Because compared to controlling beasts, Tianling Fruit has a greater effect on people. Someone once took Tianling Fruit. It's not just the qualifications that have become extremely terrifying. Even his physique has reached an incredible level, and he is simply a true humanoid beast master. Just talking about hand-to-hand combat ability. You can even compete with the beasts. Li Mo. Johanny looked at Li Mo and his eyes couldn't help but light up. There are two heavenly spirit fruits here. How about each of us take one? Deal. Li Mo nodded with a smile. If it were anyone else, he really may not agree to this proposal. Although there are two heavenly spirit fruits, wouldn't it be beautiful if one person can eat them all? But Johanny is different. Li Mo always repays the kindness of others with sincerity. Seeing Li Mo agree, Johanny also breathed a sigh of relief. After all, the temptation of Tianling Fruit is so great, and the friendship between myself and Li Mo is really not worth mentioning. And at this time, The patterns on the tianling fruit began to change. Wait until these patterns are all over your body. It represents the time when the tianling fruit is ripe. A richer fragrance continued to spread from the tianling fruit. The surging beasts from the 4th middle school began to become even crazier. Xiaomo, the ancient blue wind dragon, go and help. Li Mo ordered immediately. Xiaomo and the ancient blue wind dragon looked up to the sky and roared, and had already launched a brazen attack. All of a sudden, endless waves of flames swept across the world. Wind blades cut through the sky with ease. Countless surging beasts faced attacks from the two, and the surging beasts immediately began to fall into pieces. Although the strength of these beast-controlling beasts is pretty good, but most of them are just elite or ordinary level beast masters. Faced with the joint efforts of the 4 beasts of Xiaomo, who were far superior to them in terms of strength and bloodline, their offensive also encountered huge obstacles. Is he already so strong? Zhou Hanyi looked at the powerful Xiaomo and the ancient blue wind dragon, and his beautiful eyes couldn't help but twinkle. And his spiritual power has reached 3 stars, and it seems to be very stable. It's an incredible speed of progress. Zhou Hanyi now deeply laments that he was right to befriend Li Mo in the first place. Over time, more and more beasts fell down. Zhou Hanyi's 2 beasts also retreated and kept eating the spiritual fruits. Quickly restore your own physical strength. And in front, Xiaomo and the ancient blue wind dragon were also struggling to resist everyone's attacks. But at this time, a shocking roar of a beast came from behind. The surging beast tide suddenly stagnated at this moment, and all the beast masters showed expressions of fear on their faces. They all moved out of the way. It seemed as if he was greeting something. Boom, boom, the roar of footsteps on the ground resounded loudly. A tiger with 2 wings on its back and a single horn was slowly approaching. Name: Dark One-Horned Tiger. Level: Monarch Level 1. Talent: King's Pressure. Attribute: Dark. Bloodline: High Lord Level. Skills: Dark Light, Death Lock, Dark Roar, Dark Impact. It turns out to be a monarch level beast. Feeling the breath of the dark one-horned tiger, Zhou Hanyi secretly took a breath of cold air, with a look of worry that could not be concealed in his eyes. Among all the beasts, the monarch level is definitely a watershed moment. A beast master who has reached this level. All are overlords of one party. Even in human society, a beast master who possesses a monarch level beast master also has a very high status, enough to assume the role of city lord of a city. Ouch! When Xiaomo saw the appearance of the dark one-horned tiger, he let out a roar of excitement, and his aura began to rise. Roar! The dark one-horned tiger seemed to be provoked and kept roaring. All of a sudden, the entire world was filled with the roars of the 2 beasts. The surrounding beasts began to tremble. Xiaomo, the fire of the sun. Li Mo gave the order at this moment. Buzz! Xiaomo, who could no longer hold himself back for a long time, started to burn with waves of golden flames all over his body, and the power of the entire battlefield began to increase steadily. Roar! The dark one-horned tiger seemed to feel the threat, and stared at Xiaomo with his copper bell-like eyes. He only saw his wings fluttering, his legs suddenly stepped on the ground, and his whole body was covered by endless darkness. It shrouded and shot rapidly in Xiaomo's direction. The ancient blue wind dragon, elemental amplification, 7 blades combined into 1. Faced with such a powerful enemy, Li Mo really had no intention of letting Xiaomo fight alone. Aha! A huge wind blade cut through the sky and directly bombarded the body of the dark one-horned tiger. But the invincible wind blade, even with the power of elemental amplification, it was not able to break through the black light that covered the entire body of the dark one-horned tiger. The body of the dark one-horned tiger only stagnated slightly before it resolutely shot out again. Oops! Zhou Hanyi's expression changed and he wanted to command the 2 beasts to help. But the next moment, she froze on the spot. Xiaomo, whose whole body was covered in golden flames as if the blazing sun had descended upon the world, was already attacking directly. Boom! The moment the 2 met, the roaring sound that shook the earth resounded. The whole world seemed to be divided into 2 worlds. There was a roar of flames. One side is shrouded in darkness. The 2 forces are intertwined. Everything around started to collapse crazily. Countless beasts died in the aftermath of the collision between the 2. And in the next moment, Xiaomo and the dark one-horned tiger flew out together, leaving a deep ravine on the ground. Roar! The dark one-horned tiger was furious. It shook its body and stood up from the ground. It opened its bloody mouth and jet black light spewed out. Xiaomo charges up. Fire Attribute Edition. Limo didn't dare to be careless at all, and directly used all means to increase Xiaomo's power to the extreme. Next moment, Xiaomo's figure seemed to turn into a rainbow, tearing apart the black light completely, and finally crashed into the dark one-horned tiger at an unimaginable speed. Boom! The hot flames burst out instantly. The wail of the dark one-horned tiger continued to sound. It can be vaguely seen. Xiaomo and the dark one-horned tiger have already been fighting each other. The aftermath of their fight continues to spread. Crazy, destroying everything around it. All the surrounding beasts began to panic, and the fear of death overwhelmed everything, and they began to flee crazily. Chapter 51. Boom, boom, boom. The earth-shaking roaring sound continued to resound throughout the world. The roars of the dark one-horned tiger and Xiaomo shook the sky. Every collision between the two. It will cause unimaginable damage to everything around it. This can't go on like this. Zhou Hanyi looked at the battle ahead, and after the initial shock, a look of worry appeared on his face. She could tell, although Xiaomo's current combat power can rival that of a monarch-level beast master. But everything has a price. This state, it definitely won't last. And even if he wanted to help, the battle in front of him was beyond his ability. To rashly involve the beast master would be to die. Zhou Hanyi looked at Limo subconsciously, but found that the other person's expression had not changed at all. Does he have any other tricks up his sleeve? Zhou Hanyi's eyes widened and he came to such an incredible conclusion. It seems that it won't work if I don't use it. Limo took out a small piece of raw mysterious grass from the space ring and put it in his mouth. Feeling the surging vitality and constantly restoring his spiritual energy, the Sky Thunder token appeared in Limo's hands. Buzz! Limo's spiritual energy exploded all over his body, and he raised the Heavenly Thunder token in his hand high. In an instant, the whole world was turbulent. Don't know when. The sky has become dark. Endless thunder rolled and raged in the dark clouds, like thunder dragons swimming among them. Next moment, endless thunder has fallen from the sky. It's like heaven's punishment coming to earth. It fell directly to the battlefield ahead. In front of this real power of heaven and earth, everything was reduced to pieces in an instant. At this critical moment, Xiaomo's figure has turned into a rainbow, leaving the range of thunder and lightning. The sun's fire is surging all over his body, staring at everything in front of him. Wait until all the dust settles. The battlefield ahead has turned into a huge pit. Currents raged in it. The miserable figure of the dark one-horned tiger also appeared. By this time it had been severely damaged. Even standing there seemed very reluctant. Solve it, Xiaomo. Limo suppressed the wave of weakness and gave the order in his heart. Xiaomo's figure shot out. The claws burning with the fire of the sun staggered and fell down. Boom! Between the endless bursts of solar fire, the dark one-horned tiger, which was already at the end of its strength, let out a mournful cry and fell completely to the ground. You actually. Zhou Hanyi stared at this scene blankly, feeling like he was in a dream. A monarch-level beast. He died in Limo's hands. Finally solved. Limo breathed a sigh of relief, his face looking slightly pale. Just now, he tried his best to activate the Sky Thunder token, pouring out all his spiritual energy in an instant. Fortunately, with the Shengxuansao, his spiritual energy is recovering at a speed visible to the naked eye. Limo fed a small part of the raw mysterious grass into the mouths of Xiaomo and the ancient blue wind dragon to help them recover from their injuries and physical strength. Although the dark one-horned tiger has been solved, but there are also many surviving beasts around. It is necessary to maintain maximum combat effectiveness at all times. Limo turned around and came under the fruit tree, looking at the Tianling fruit with ever-changing patterns, quietly waiting for it to mature. The fragrance from the Tianling fruit is getting stronger and stronger. The surrounding beasts, who were originally frightened by the death of the dark one-horned tiger, were immediately overcome by desire and fear, and were once again ready to move. But what greeted them? But it was a crazy killing. The ancient blue wind dragon and Xiaomo all held the profound grass in their mouths and continued to slaughter. As long as the medicinal power of Shengxuansao is still there, their physical strength will not be exhausted. Injuries on the body will also heal quickly. And their strength, also under this kind of high-intensity battle, started to improve like crazy. Time passes slowly. The afterglow of the setting sun gradually fell on the earth. The 2 Tianling fruits were finally fully mature and were received by Li Mo. And not far behind him, it was already a river of blood. Xiao Mo and the ancient blue wind dragon were guarding the surroundings, and around them were countless corpses of beasts. Here you go, this was agreed beforehand. Li Mo handed a Tianling fruit to Zhou Hanyi. Thank you, I owe you a huge favor this time. Zhou Hanyi was silent for a while, but still took the Tianling fruit and said with great solemnity. Zhou Hanyi knew very well. Without Li Mo, with her strength, it would have been impossible to wait until the Tianling fruit matured, and her own life would have been in danger even in front of the monarch-level dark one-horned tiger. It's nothing. Like you said, aren't we friends? A smile appeared at the corner of Li Mo's mouth. Yeah, Zhou Hanyi nodded heavily, with a heartfelt smile on his face. By the way, the Tianling fruit has the best effect when eaten when it is ripe, and it is best not to take it to the outside world. It is too dangerous, Zhou Hanyi said to Li Mo solemnly. Yes, Li Mo nodded gently. It can be said that he is well aware of this kind of thing. A treasure of this level, if it really appears in the outside world, I don't know how many monsters will be disturbed. Next moment, Li Mo called Xiao Mo and the ancient blue wind dragon to guard around him with his heart. He sat down cross-legged and ate the Tianling fruit without hesitation. In an instant, Li Mo only felt a huge, yet extremely gentle force swimming through his body and beginning to change his body. This is really... Zhou Hanyi looked at Li Mo's actions and felt a little moved in his heart. Li Mo's unabashed behavior, in her opinion, isn't it a manifestation of trust? There was no hesitation. Zhou Hanyi also ate the Tianling fruit, and sat cross-legged in such a generous manner, digesting the power of the Tianling fruit with Li Mo. Outside the secret realm, a large number of people gathered here. All of them are teachers and students from various schools. Now is the deadline for this assessment. If the candidate does not leave the secret realm within the stipulated time, no matter how great the gains are, they will not be counted in the score. Wang Chengfeng looked at his watch and said calmly, there are still 10 minutes until the end of this assessment. Haha, old Qian, Li Mo hasn't appeared yet, maybe he got lost in the secret realm. Zhao Xuan patted Qian Shengxing's shoulder and showed a smile. Humph, Qian Shengxing snorted coldly, but did not answer. He knew that Zhao Xuan was just deliberately disgusting himself. In the secret realm, no matter what position you are in, everyone can see the obvious space crack, and there is absolutely no possibility of getting lost. At this moment, 2 figures walked out of the space crack side by side. They were none other than Li Mo and Zhou Hanyi. The reason why they came out so late, it's entirely because absorbing the Tianling fruit consumes a lot of time. If it weren't for the last moment, riding on the ancient blue wind dragon and rushing forward with all its strength, there would really be a risk of being late. Although the 2 of them looked ordinary on the surface at this time. But no one will know their physical strength at this time. How terrifying is it? When the time is up, all candidates, please come forward, and a dedicated person will take stock of your achievements. Wang Chengfeng spoke indifferently. Immediately afterwards, there are dozens of staff. Start counting everyone's space rings one by one. They also have special instruments in their hands, which are used to detect the reactions of the space rings and secret mirrors of Imperial College. To prevent people from confusing others, Li Mo also took out a lot of space and handed it directly to the staff. Certainly, some particularly precious resources. Li Mo has hidden it in his space ring and has no intention of making it public. It doesn't matter even if your results are slightly compromised. He believes in his own harvest. There are few who can compare with him. It is definitely more than enough to enter Imperial College. Li Mo returned to the team of City No. 1 Middle School and saw Su Hai and Zhao Shanshan also standing out, and nodded lightly. The competition in the secret realm is very cruel. 2 people were able to escape unscathed. It seems that he also listened to his own advice and chose to give up as soon as possible. Haha, boy, how was your harvest this time? Lu Rufeng came up to him immediately and patted Li Mo on the shoulder. The results should be good. Li Mo responded modestly. You kid, you've killed a lot of people during this time. Lu Rufeng smelled the lingering smell of blood on Li Mo's body and immediately laughed and cursed. Ha ha ha, no matter what, it's good if you can come out alive. Qian Shengxing also stepped forward and looked at Li Mo carefully, with a gleam in his eyes. He was keenly aware of it. Li Mo compared to not long ago. There has definitely been a huge change in my body. Next, it's just a long wait. Staff will develop scores based on the value of the resource. Basically, 10,000 ancient star coins represent 1 point. Within this period of time, some students also started to talk about it. What do you think of your results? Haha, I did a rough calculation before I came out. My score is definitely not less than 500. A student had a look of pride on his face. What's so great about this? I have purple sungrass among my resources. Another student looked disdainful. The value of purple sungrass in the market is about 1 million, and it is indeed a relatively rare resource. Hearing this, some people had a look of envy on their faces. This purple sunflower represents not only points, but also real wealth. By the way, who do you think will be the first in this assessment? I think it's Wang Shanlin. His golden-haired roar beast is too powerful. I saw a lord-level beast die under his claws with my own eyes. I think Li Mo is possible. He is simply a demonic character. A student seemed to be thinking of some bad memories, and his whole body was trembling. Li Mo, you are talking about the person who possesses the ancient blue wind dragon. Although his strength is good, he is not number 1 by any means. Someone immediately raised questions. At this time, Zhang Cheng also took over the reports from all the statisticians, with a look of surprise on his face. Quiet, I will announce the results of this assessment. Zhang Cheng coughed and said solemnly, to all those listed in the rankings, congratulations on being admitted to Imperial College. As Zhao Cheng opened his mouth, a projector not far away that had been prepared for a long time started working. Elusive images began to appear in midair. Everyone watched all this nervously and began to check the results. Some people cried with joy. Some people looked frustrated. You and Zhao Shanshan actually passed this exam. Li Mo looked at the 2 names on the image with a look of surprise on his face and said to Su Hai next to him. Haha, you are looking down on me, this is my real strength. Su Hai laughed proudly. His luck is really good. As soon as he entered the secret realm, he encountered a place where spiritual herbs gathered. After picking all these spiritual herbs, he followed Li Mo's warning and left the secret realm directly. It can be said that he is one of the first students to return here. All this is thanks to your guidance, Li Mo. Zhao Shanshan looked at Li Mo with gratitude. The battle in the secret realm is really too cruel. If she hadn't gone through Li Mo's special training for a period of time, I'm afraid they won't be able to get out of the secret realm alive. By the way, Li Mo, you are still in the mood to talk to us, but your name does not appear on it. Su Hai looked at the image above and immediately became worried about Li Mo. Why are you so anxious? Aren't the top 20 still unannounced? Li Mo seemed unhurried and very sure. It does seem like this. Su Hai took a closer look and found that the top 20 rankings were indeed missing from the image. Now I will announce the results of the top 20. Wang Chengfeng, holding a list in his hand, began to speak loudly. 20th place, Li Li, score 5,820. 19th place, Wei Chen, score 6,012. Quote. As the names rang out one by one, the expressions on everyone's faces did not change at all. Because of these people, all of them are well-known geniuses in major cities, and they have already become famous. 4th place, Huang Wufang. 3rd place, Wang Shanlin. When they heard their names, there was a small commotion in the venue. I didn't expect that they were only 3rd or 4th. I thought the 1st place would be among them. Haha, in this case, the 1st place is definitely Zhou Hanyi from Tianfeng City. 2nd place, Zhou Hanyi. As soon as the name was spoken, the arguing voices around him stopped abruptly. Everyone's faces showed surprise. Zhou Hanyi turned out to be 2nd. None of the 3 favorites in this assessment won the 1st place, so who is the 1st? Quiet. The following is the 1st place, Li Mo, with a score of 30,900. Wang Chengfeng looked around, took a deep breath, and spoke slowly. What? Li Mo is actually the 1st place. Who is he? How come I have never heard of it? I have heard that he seems to have defeated Huang Wufang before. Even so, The score of more than 30,000 is too exaggerated. Converted into ancient star coins, that is a wealth of over 300 million. Shouts of exclamation came and went, and shock appeared on everyone's faces. Li Mo's results. It really shocked them. At this point, Li Mo has truly entered the sight of senior executives in major cities. Well done. Qian Shengxing smiled. Although there was a look of surprise in his eyes that could not be concealed, he kept casting provocative glances at Zhao Xuan, who was not far away. Haha, what a good boy, you really gave our number. One middle school A face. After Lu Rufang was shocked, he slapped Li Mo hard on the shoulder and started laughing. Well, when did your body become so strong? Lu Rufang felt the force of the shock in his palm, with a strange look on his face. It's nothing, it should be the benefit brought to me by Xiaomo and the others' advancement. Li Mo smiled and shook his head, not intending to mention the sky spirit fruit. These are all the results of this secret realm assessment. Next, everyone can choose to exchange the items obtained in the secret realm into corresponding ancient star coins with us. As for the admission notice, it will be sent to you later. After finishing speaking, Wang Chengfeng left the staff behind and retreated into the crowd. Next moment, all the students have rushed forward. No one here is a fool. The harvest in the secret realm is really considerable. If it were not for the space rings provided by Imperial College, they would be too conspicuous with these things, just like walking at night in brocade clothes. It will definitely cause unnecessary trouble. It would be safer to exchange it for ancient star coins and deposit them directly into your bank card. Li Mo also stepped forward, leaving only some resources that he would need, and chose to exchange all other resources. The most precious thing anyway. It has always been in his space ring. Wait until all redemptions are completed. There is already a huge sum of 210 million in Li Mo's bank card. This trip to the secret realm. Li Mo can be said to have become rich overnight. Under everyone's odd gaze, Li Mo left here and started heading to the commercial street. His next goal, just purchase some monarch-level beast cores that Xiaomo and the ancient blue wind dragon need to evolve. Although these things are precious, but it's enough money can buy. It can't be said to have a price but no market. You can still buy it in shopping streets. Due to Li Mo's lavish purchases, the wealth he just acquired has shrunk by half, but he has also gained a lot. Finally, Li Mo returned home contentedly and fell into a deep sleep. Early morning hours. The sun rises slowly. The bright sunshine shines on the earth, dispelling the last bit of coolness of the night. Graduation exams away. A day has passed. After the graduation ceremony, the entire campus became deserted. Li Mo and Su Hai were walking on the streets of the campus, looking extremely lonely. Hey, Li Mo, basically everyone has gone home for the holidays. There is not a single beautiful woman on campus. Why are you still here? Su Hai looked at the empty street and sighed with a look on his face. Did anyone force you to come? You can go home and sleep. Li Mo rolled his eyes. Aren't I curious about the reward that the principal is going to give you? Su Hai's eyes sparkled and he said, you are the first in the Imperial Capital College assessment. Our school has not won such an honor for I don't know how long. The reward that Principal Qian will give you is absolutely amazing. What do you think? Is it a spiritual skill, a beast-controlling egg, or some kind of genius treasure? I don't know about that. Li Mo shook his head slowly, with a look of expectation on his face. You are here, just in time. Come with me. Lu Rufang, who was approaching, saw the two of them and immediately waved. The two of them followed Lu Rufang to Qian Shengxing's office. However, Su Hai was stopped directly by Lu Rufang. Li Mo walked into the office and happened to see Qian Shengxing drinking tea. You're here. Qian Shengxing watched Li Mo arrive with a smile on his face. He took out a scroll with golden light from his space ring and placed it on the table. Although this is the reward promised to you, whether you can successfully take it depends on your ability. Qian Shengxing stood up and continued. This spiritual scroll was left by the first-generation principal of City No. 1 Middle School. I don't know what spiritual skills it contains. But there is a seal on it. Only your spiritual energy can resonate with the seal to dissolve it. So you only have 8 hours. After speaking, Qian Shengxing left the office directly regardless of Li Mo's reaction, leaving the space to Li Mo. Is it actually a sealed spiritual scroll? Limo stepped forward and took the scroll in his hand, with a smile on his lips. If anyone else, it's really impossible to telepathically interact with the seal. I'm afraid I can only stare. But Limo is different. You only need to use the system to forcefully crack it. Limo concentrated slightly, and the properties of the scroll had emerged. Name, sealing spiritual technique. Stars in the sky can grow. Function, borrow the power of the stars in the sky to strengthen spiritual skills. Energy required to break the seal, Monarch level Beast Core X25, Commander level Beast Core X60, Elite level Beast Core X150, Ordinary level Beast Core X300. This spiritual technique can actually enhance the power of other spiritual techniques. Limo looked at the properties of the scroll and his eyes widened with disbelief on his face. But he really has a lot of beast cores needed to break the seal. He calmed down his mood and smiled bitterly. Fortunately, he had made a large purchase before, otherwise he really wouldn't have been able to produce so many Monarch-level beast cores. Limo checked the room carefully and used Psychic Alert. After finding nothing abnormal, he took out the beast core from the space ring without hesitation and started to let the system break the seal. Name, spiritual skills. Fill the sky with stars can grow. Function, borrow the power of the stars in the sky to strengthen spiritual skills. Energy required for upgrading Emperor-level beast cores. Limo looked at the scroll in front of him and tore it open without hesitation. For a moment, a lot of knowledge poured into Limo's mind. With my current strength, can I use the stars in the sky to double the power of other spiritual arts? Limo felt the knowledge in his mind and took a gentle breath. It's hard for him to imagine now. As his spiritual power continues to improve, how terrifying will the increase in spiritual arts among the stars in the sky be? Limo entered the state of cultivation without hesitation. The practice of this spiritual skill is very difficult. Even with Limo's qualifications transformed by the Tianling fruit, it was quite difficult to practice. Time passes gradually. The warm sunset light slowly shines in through the window. Limo also ended his cultivation state and slowly opened his eyes. After several hours of practice, he finally mastered the spiritual art of stars in the sky, but if he wants to enter actual combat, he still needs to practice diligently. Boom, boom, there was a knock on the door, and Qian Shengsheng's words came from outside. Limo, the time has come, I'm coming in. After saying that, Qian Shengsheng had already pushed the door open and entered. But when he saw the torn scrolls on the ground, he exclaimed in shock. You actually really resonated with him. Qian Shengsheng's eyes were full of disbelief. This seal scroll has been passed down for thousands of years in number. One middle school. It's not like there haven't been gifted students exposed to it. But all were in vain. This time he didn't hold out much hope. But he didn't expect that Limo gave him such a surprise. Okay, really good. Qian Shengsheng took a deep look at Limo and finally said. Okay, you should be tired too, go back and rest. Limo saw that Qian Shengsheng did not ask about the content of Linling technique, so he stood up and left. After Limo left, Qian Shengsheng had already looked at a portrait on the wall. The person in this portrait. Astonishingly, he was the first-generation principal of No. 1 Middle School. One of the legends of distant times. A peerless powerhouse with 9 spiritual powers, Wan Kang Long. I actually got the spiritual skills you left behind. Is it possible that another peerless strong man will appear in our human race? Qian Shengsheng looked at the portrait and murmured to himself in a low voice. ... Hey, Limo, that old man, Principal Qian, is so mysterious. What is he talking about? Su Hai put his arm around Limo's shoulders and said with curiosity on his face. It's a spiritual skill. Thanks to my talent, otherwise I really wouldn't be able to break the seal. Limo smiled softly and had no intention of hiding it from Su Hai. TCH, you only have 1 spiritual skill. You are really stingy. According to my opinion, why should I give you 10 skills? Su Hai looked disdainful. Limo didn't explain either. In his opinion, the sky is filled with stars. It is definitely one of the most precious spiritual skills in the world. Just imagine, if his strength could make the stars in the sky increase spiritual power tenfold. Then apply it to the fire attribute enhancement and give it to Xiaomo to use. That way, how terrifying will Xiaomo's strength be? Forget it, my dad just called me. He spent a lot of money to hire someone to give me special training tomorrow. I guess it will be a dark life again. Su Hai said bitterly. It seems that next time when we meet, we should be at Imperial College. In that case, you should go to special training, otherwise your strength will not be enough in Imperial College. Don't embarrass me when the time comes. Li Mo showed a smirk. HMPH, just wait. After a month, I will definitely impress you. Su Hai waved his hand and immediately trotted out of the school. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing you again in a month, Imperial College. Li Mo looked at the darkening sky with a smile on his face. 1 month later, on a train heading to the imperial capital. In a separate room, Li Mo sat cross-legged on the bed, his whole body filled with spiritual energy. Sure enough, the practice of spiritual energy becomes more and more difficult as time goes by. Even with my current qualifications, it took me a month, but my spiritual energy has only reached the level of 3-star advanced. There is still a long way to go before reaching perfection. Li Mo whispered to himself. If anyone else were here, they would definitely want to beat Li Mo to death. Under normal circumstances, it will take at least several years of training for someone who has just stepped into the 3-star psychic realm to reach Li Mo's current level. And Li Mo only used it for a month. Such an exaggerated rate of progress. It can only be described as sensational. But I heard that Su Hai has arrived in the imperial capital a long time ago. I don't know what's going on now. Since this month, in addition to his own cultivation, Li Mo also often took Xiaomo and the 2 beasts in and out of the Tianfeng Mountains. Under crazy fighting, Xiaomo's strength reached the 7th level of command. The strength of the ancient blue wind dragon has reached the 8th level of command. But speaking of it, the imperial capital is the center of the world, and the resources here must be very rich. I just don't know if the remaining 100 million I have will be enough. And the extra credits I got for being the first in the exam, what role do I have in Imperial College? The vibration of the train stopping interrupted Li Mo's soliloquy. Are you here already? Li Mo looked at the completely unfamiliar scenery outside the window, picked up his backpack, and walked out, officially starting his journey to the imperial capital. Li Mo walked out of the station. Immediately I saw several familiar figures. The guests were surprisingly Su Hai, Zhou Hanyi, and Zhao Shanshan. Hey, you guys are actually together. Are you here to pick me up? Li Mo waved to several people and ran over quickly. We just happened to meet each other, and we have the same goal. We are waiting for you here together. Zhou Hanyi smiled softly. Although I am not familiar with Su Hai, but because of Li Mo, she is also happy to have a good relationship with them. Haha, stop talking nonsense. We are also benefiting from you and can be Zhou Hanyi's car. Su Hai laughed heartily and pointed to the commercial vehicle next to him. Several people entered Zhou Hanyi's business car while talking and laughing. Zhao Shanshan, congratulations on your psychic breakthrough, reaching 3 stars. Li Mo looked at Zhao Shanshan and immediately congratulated her. Of course, I have been working hard during this period, so I can't let you fall behind too much. Zhao Shanshan smiled softly, looking full of energy. You also said that you have made the greatest progress among others. Zhou Hanyi glanced at Li Mo, with a look of surprise in his eyes that could not be concealed. Although she also took the Tianling fruit, her qualifications were greatly enhanced. But the speed of practicing spiritual energy, compared to Li Mo, it's like a small which makes a big difference. Really, I still think it's a little slow. Li Mo shook his head slowly. Don't you know it's easy to offend people when you talk like this? Zhou Hanyi was speechless. By the way, Li Mo, are you sure you have your 3rd beast? Su Hai interrupted at this time. I haven't thought about it yet. Li Mo shook his head slowly. For beast control, he wasn't going to be careless. Although it has the ability to evolve the beast. But if the beast control itself is extraordinary, it will undoubtedly save a lot of effort. At this moment, the car had stopped. Let's go, we've arrived. When everyone got out of the commercial vehicle, the first thing they saw was a mountain range that looked like a blue dragon. Quote, the address is right here, but why don't you see Imperial College? Li Mo looked at the address on the street with a look of confusion on his face. Haha, don't you know this? The address on our admission notice is not the real Imperial College at all. Suhai started to show off. If you want to become a student of Imperial College, you still need a small test. The specifics are. Hearing what Suhai said, Limo showed a look of surprise. It turns out this test. It is also the tradition of Imperial College. It is used to eliminate those students who are lucky enough to pass the examination and ensure that all students who can enter Imperial College are true geniuses. As for why they appear here, it's all because of being behind this mountain range. It is where Imperial College is located. Only by passing through the mountains and formally registering at Imperial College within the stipulated time can one truly become a student of Imperial College. Everyone else, all will be rejected without mercy. Everyone walked towards the registration location and saw only a sea of people. Rough estimate, there are tens of thousands of people here. Are there so many people who have successfully passed the Tiandu Academy? The number of people is ridiculous. Suhai opened his mouth wide when he saw this scene. It's not a big deal. After all, Imperial College recruits students from all over the world. Even if there are only a few people in an area, there are still many people gathered together. Zhao Shanshan shook her head and said. And at this moment, a student man with yellow hair and a cool attitude had already walked towards Limo and the others. Haha, what did I see? I met such a beautiful woman. The man looked at Zhou Hanyi and Zhao Shanshan with a squinting expression. When the other students lining up saw this scene, they all showed interesting expressions. This man looked like he was looking for trouble. But no one came to help. After all, they know it deeply. Imperial College can be said to be a crouching tiger, hidden dragon. Those who can come here are not simple things. It would be nice to see other people clashing. You can also take a look at what level your own strength is. A teacher in the distance frowned slightly when he saw this scene, but he did not stop it. A good dog goes out of his way. Limo stepped forward and said with an indifferent expression. Why, you kid wants a hero to save the beauty. The yellow-haired student's eyes narrowed slightly, glowing with dangerous light. It's really interesting. I haven't encountered so many nosy guys in a long time. Let me teach you a profound lesson. The yellow-haired student raised his palm slightly, and a 5-pointed star array appeared in front of him. Roar, accompanied by a dragon roar. A huge figure already appeared in front of everyone. Name Earth Demon Dragon. Level Commander of the 5th level. Talent Longway. Attribute Earth, Dragon. Bloodline Low-level Monarch level. Skills Dragon Roar, Earth Trample, Rolling Stone, Earth Splitting Claw. It turned out to be the Earth Demon Dragon. I seem to have heard of this beast master. I remembered who he was. He is Shui Ren, a famous playboy in the imperial capital. Those people are in trouble now. Some people started talking, looking at Shui Ren with fear in their eyes. Although this person's reputation is not good. But whether it is his beast control or family background, they are absolutely not to be underestimated. I'll give you one last chance. While I'm in a good mood, get out of here. Shui Ren stood next to the Earth Demon Dragon with an arrogant look on his face. Really, what kind of trash keeps screaming in my ears? Limo picked his ears, looking quite unconcerned. You are looking for death. A look of anger flashed across Shui Ren's face. The Earth Demon Dragon seemed to sense Shui Ren's anger. His entire body had already crashed in the direction of Limo. Buzz. A 5-pointed star appeared in front of Limo. The mighty dragon power swept across all directions instantly. The Earth Demon Dragon, which was charging forward quickly, could not help but stagnate, with a look of surprise and uncertainty on its face. The light of the pentagram disappeared. The figure of the ancient Blue Wind Dragon has appeared on the field. Ancient Blue Wind Dragon, teach a fellow clan member of yours a lesson. Limo said with a cold look on his face. The ancient Blue Wind Dragon threw out its tail and directly hit the body of the Earth Demon Dragon. Boom! A violent muffled sound exploded. Hurricanes swept in all directions. The body of the Earth Demon Dragon was also lifted up, leaving a deep ravine on the ground. It's actually another dragon. What is this person's background? Is this Imperial College? Why are there so many monsters? I thought that with my strength, I would still have a place among the freshmen. Now it seems that I took it too much for granted. Seeing the appearance of the ancient Blue Wind Dragon, all the students screamed in surprise. Haha, a guy like you still dares to speak rudely to Li Mo. Su Hai laughed proudly at Shui Ren. Asshole, Earth Demon Dragon, how long do you want to lie there? Hurry up and tear that guy into pieces. Shui Ren roared with great annoyance. The Earth Demonic Dragon shook its head and climbed up from the ground, roared lowly, and in the endless sound waves, once again rushed towards the ancient Blue Wind Dragon. Ancient Blue Wind Dragon, play with it. Li Mo did not direct the battle, but gave orders casually. Boom, boom, boom. In an instant, the two behemoths had collided. Every thrust of the two. There will be strong winds all around. The sharp dragon claws tore through the air, constantly leaving scars on the opponent's body. Shock waves centered on the two and swept in all directions. The ground beneath their feet continued to crack. The students watching the battle subconsciously stayed away from here, for fear of being affected by the battle between the two. Kill him, Earth Dragon, with Dragon Roar. The ancient Blue Wind Dragon, use the breath of the dragon. The Earth Demon Dragon and the ancient Blue Wind Dragon opened their mouths at the same time, and two completely different powers surged out of their mouths. Boom! The moment the two collided, a violent roar broke out directly. The surrounding earth completely exploded. The roar of the Earth Demon Dragon was defeated by one blow, and its entire body was completely covered by the dragon's breath. It flew out directly and slammed into the ground in the distance. Boom! The gravel was flying. The Earth Demon Dragon's body kept sliding on the ground, leaving a deep ravine. Everyone saw this scene. A look of shock flashed across his face. They didn't expect it at all. As a pure-blooded dragon, the Earth Demon Dragon was suppressed into this state by the ancient Blue Wind Dragon in such a short period of time. What is the origin of this guy? One person murmured under his breath. This sentence also expresses what everyone feels. Although there are many talented people here, but the strength displayed by Li Mo is absolutely overwhelming and far beyond the scope of ordinary freshmen. At least they don't have the courage to fight with them. The strength displayed by the ancient Blue Wind Dragon completely exceeded their imagination. Shui Ren gritted his teeth and wanted to summon another beast. But the next moment, in front of him was a flower. Only Li Mo's figure was seen, and he didn't know when he had appeared in front of him, and a hand was pinched around his neck. You, what do you want to do? Do you know who I am? If you know what I am, you'd better let me go quickly. Feeling the strength in Li Mo's hand, Shui Ren did not dare to act rashly, but still said harsh words. So what if I don't let him go? Li Mo looked indifferent, and with a little force on his arm, he had already lifted Shui Ren up, and slapped him directly with the other hand. Snapped. How powerful Li Mo is now, even if he has taken control. However, several of Shui Ren's teeth were knocked out and his cheeks became swollen. You will meet later. Shui Ren struggled hard. Snapped. Li Mo struck back again, knocking out most of Shui Ren's teeth. Everyone saw this scene. He also swallowed secretly. Some people are even secretly warning themselves not to act too openly. It turns out that they are all geniuses from all over the world. Being able to beat students from several cities to stand out is enough to prove that they are extraordinary. But I didn't expect it. Just by signing up at Imperial College, you will see such a terrifying guy. Who knows how many such existences there are in Imperial College where geniuses gather. Next time, I hope you will keep your mouth shut. Li Mo stared at Shui Ren and threw him out as if throwing garbage. Now that we are here, Li Mo is not prepared to keep a low profile. Only show strength appropriately. Only then will everyone pay attention to it. I'm going to kill you. Shui Ren, whose face was covered in blood, stood up from the ground and looked at Li Mo with eyes full of resentment. Only the spiritual energy surged in his hands. I don't know what spiritual magic was performed. The Earth Demon Dragon in the distance had become extremely violent and began to rush towards Li Mo regardless. When everyone saw this scene, their expressions couldn't help but change, and they immediately hid away. They know, Shui Ren was absolutely blinded by anger now. Otherwise, he wouldn't be here to command the Beast Masters to directly attack the Beast Masters. Li Mo hadn't made any move yet. Everyone felt the sky darken and a huge figure appeared in the center of the field. Name: Eight-Handed Monster. Level: Lord 9th level. Talent: Strange Power. Attribute: Fighting. Bloodline: Low-level Monarch level. Skills: Crazy Stamping, million-ton punch, strangulation in the arms, bursting punch. I've been putting up with you for a long time. This is a reporting place, and I won't tolerate you making trouble here. A teacher with a test scar on his face was standing on the shoulders of the eight-handed monster. Go around him. Shui Ren, who was furious, ignored him and insisted on letting the Earth Demon Dragon attack. Teacher Scar frowned, looking quite unhappy. Looks like I'm going to teach you an unforgettable lesson. As soon as he finished speaking, several arms of the eight-handed monster were already pressed on various parts of the Earth Demon Dragon's body. Boom, boom, boom. The fists of the eight-handed monster fell on the Earth Demon Dragon like raindrops. The Earth Demon Dragon let out a shrill wail, but was completely unable to break free from the eight-handed demon monster. Eventually his wails grew weaker and weaker. He was knocked unconscious by the eight-handed monster. So strong. Is this the teacher from Imperial College? His spiritual power is that of a 4-star beast master. All the students looked at each other with a look of horror that could not be concealed. Them at this moment, deeply aware of the heritage of Imperial College. With the strength of this scar-faced teacher, placed in their original schools. Absolutely the best teacher. And put it here, it can only be used to welcome new students. It is worthy of being the Imperial College, one of the highest schools on the entire ancient planet, with thousands of years of foundation. The scar-faced teacher stood on the shoulders of the eight-handed monster, looking down at Shui Ren, with a trace of murderous intent spreading out. What do you think of this place? This is not your home, but the Imperial College with thousands of years of heritage. No matter what your background is, if you dare to cause trouble again, I will deprive you of your admission qualifications. Shui Ren trembled violently, his eyes showing fear, but he did not dare to speak anymore. All of you, please listen to me. Your past achievements are nothing in Imperial College. It's best to keep to yourself, otherwise, you will bear the consequences. Of course, if you are bullied by others, you must fight back boldly and don't be timid. This is the code of my generation as a beast master. After finishing speaking, the scar-faced teacher took a deep look at Li Mo, finally took back the eight-handed monster and returned to his seat. After the warning from teacher Scarface, everyone also restrained their thoughts. Start queuing up to register in an orderly manner. Not much time passed. It's already Li Mo's turn. When teacher Scarface saw Li Mo's reasoning, he also showed a smile. He handed over a number plate and said, "Your number is 3650. Please get on the school bus in this number range at 25, and he will take you there." Mountains. At this point, teacher Scarface paused slightly and said, "Although that Shui Ren is useless, his brother is very difficult to deal with. You have to be careful when the time comes." Thank you teacher for the reminder. Li Mo took the number plate and smiled gratefully. After Li Mo left, he immediately began to join Zhou Hanyi and the others. What's your number? Li Mo asked everyone. Zhou Hanyi and others raised their number plates, but no one was close to Li Mo's number. It seems that we will separate in the future. Zhao Shanshan said thoughtfully. This is understandable. Since it is a test, of course we must prevent us from helping each other to the greatest extent. Zhou Hanyi shook his head. Haha, no matter what, such a test will definitely not trouble me. Su Hai laughed heartlessly. After Li Mo said goodbye to everyone, he had already entered a school bus according to the numbers on the number plate. There is already a student here at this time. This is a man with short black hair and the smell of blood all over his body. On his shoulder, there is a lazy black cat sleeping. Name, Blue-Eyed Cat. Level, Commander of the 9th level. Talent, Disguise. Attribute, Darkness. Pedigree, Intermediate Monarch level. Skills, Dark Wave, Flying Hair Needle, Tearing Claw, Shadow Kill. Li Mo took a look at the black cat on the man, and his eyes flickered slightly. The opponent's strength is so strong. It is very likely that it will be higher than Zhou Hanyi and others. It is indeed an imperial college where geniuses gather. Even after it rained, Li Mo had no intention of interacting with him and found a seat to close his eyes and rest. Over time, students are already getting on the bus one after another. Wait until all seats are filled. The driver at the front has already spoken. Now that everyone is here, I will briefly explain the rules. This test is very simple. I will drop you off at different locations in the mountains. You only need to successfully pass through the Wanren Mountains within 2 days to pass this test. In the Wanren Mountains, life and death fights among students are prohibited. There are quite complete monitoring methods here, so don't make any mistakes. Of course, if you are in danger, you can also crush your number plate, and relevant personnel will go to rescue you. Lee Mo listened to the driver's words without any change in his expression. This is the entrance test. Compared to his previous assessment, it's simply too gentle, but he wasn't surprised. He'd known it before. The reason why their Tianfang City assessment was so cruel was probably because it coincided with the advent of the secret realm. Assessment in most other cities, it's not that bloody. The school bus started and stopped at various locations in the mountains. The students whose names were called got off the bus quickly. Feng Judian, please get out of the car. Following the driver's shout, the man with the black bag on his shoulder also stepped out of the car. My surname is Feng. This surname is somewhat interesting. Lee frowned slightly, with a thoughtful look on his face. Next, finally, Li Mo also got off the school bus. Li Mo immediately summoned the ancient blue wind dragon and Xiao Mo. Ouch! Xiao Mo screamed excitedly, ran around Li Mo, and then turned into a pocket version and got into Li Mo's arms. Let's go. Li Mo waved to the ancient blue wind dragon, asking him to restrain his aura and walk towards the woods. Li Mo did not choose to ride the ancient blue wind dragon and fly directly over the mountains. He wanted to take advantage of this opportunity. Get familiar with the environment of Wanren Mountain around Imperial College. You can also hone your fighting ability by the way. Since taking the Tianling fruit, coupled with the power feedback from Xiao Mo and the ancient blue wind dragon, his power has reached an extremely terrifying level. As long as safety can be guaranteed, he doesn't mind improving his combat capabilities. Not long after walking out, Li Mo saw the trees not far ahead beginning to collapse. Hopefully it will be an opponent of equal strength. Li Mo's eyes narrowed slightly, and he immediately directed the direction of the wind dragon elephant in the ancient tower to move. After a few minutes, a chimpanzee, who was 10 feet away and covered with black scales, had already appeared in front of Li Mo. Name: Black Orangutan. Level: First level of command. Talent: None. Attribute: Normal. Bloodline: Low-level commander. Skills: Rock throwing, Iron head hammer, Strange power fist. It seems that we are lucky, this kind of monster is just right. Li Mo looked at the chimpanzee in front of him, and his eyes lit up. Such a powerful beast master. It's perfect for training him. Come on, I'll use you to test my strength. Li Mo raised his finger at the chimpanzee, his provocation was palpable. Roar! The chimpanzee was obviously irritated by Li Mo's provocation. He kept beating his chest with his fists and let out this shocking roar. Next moment, just saw its footsteps hitting the ground. The ground shook violently. The body has jumped up, holding a fist as big as a millstone in one hand, and smashed towards Li Mo Wolf. Although chimpanzees are fast, but under Li Mo's psychic perception, all its movements are clearly visible. Li Mo leaned sideways to avoid the chimpanzee's fist, feeling the oncoming strong wind, and his body was already on top of him. Crackling, Li Mo's whole body erupted with a crisp sound like a violent bean. The muscles all over his body bulged slightly, and he punched the black-armored gorilla in the chest without hesitation. Boom! The muffled sound of flesh colliding resounded in all directions. The chimpanzee's feet lifted off the ground and hit the towering old tree behind. Click! The big tree exploded instantly, and the black-armored star also let out a miserable wail, vomiting blood from his mouth. The corner of the ancient blue wind dragon's mouth twitched in the distance. It was a little worried about its owner's safety just now and planned to take action at any time. Now it seems, there is absolutely no need for this. Am I already that strong now? Li Mo looked at the effect he had caused and was slightly in a daze. Roar! The chimpanzee roared violently, lifted up the gravel on the ground, and smashed it towards Li Mo. Illusory hand. The spiritual energy in Li Mo's hand surged and turned into a big hand of nothingness, sweeping away all the gravel that was shot up. Whoosh! Li Mo's figure shot out, clenched his fists tightly, and launched a violent attack directly on the black armor. Bang! 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 The mighty muffled sound continued to resound in all directions. The chimpanzee howled repeatedly after being hit by Li Mo's fist, and finally became completely silent. It seems that the general commander level ferocious beasts are no longer my match. Limo looked at the results he had achieved and nodded with satisfaction. Next, Limo took the ancient blue wind dragon and continued to cross the mountains. But it's a battle along the way. Limo is basically doing it alone. Time passes slowly. Night has fallen quietly, but Wanren Mountain lives up to its former tranquility. There are constant roars of beasts roaring across the world. The roar of battle echoed through the night. Rescuers continued to ride on the flying beasts to rescue the students who gave up the test and take them away from the mountain range. And by a lake, an extremely huge rat was making a fighting gesture with a fierce expression. Name: dark-haired rat. Level: first level of command. Talent: none. Attribute: normal. Bloodline: low-level commander. Skills: loose hair, killing front teeth, neurotoxin. The dark fur rat kept roaring, but there was unspeakable fear in his fierce eyes. Because it's not far in front of it, there was a black cat with blue eyes, looking at it with foodie eyes. Feng Judian stood at the very back, trying to get the blue-eyed cat to attack. Just at this time, a sound broke through the air. A huge wild boar-shaped beast has flown from a distance, sliding into a deep ravine on the ground. Feng Judian hasn't reacted yet, only to see Limo's figure has shot up, grabbing the wild boar's tail with both hands. All he could see was that between the efforts of his arms, the huge wild boar had been lifted high, and finally fell to the ground hard. Immediately afterwards, Limo's body twisted, smashed towards the other side again. Bang, 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 the earth keeps shaking. A deafening roar echoed in the air. The huge wild boar howled. Feng Judian's eyes widened and he looked at this scene with a horrified expression. He couldn't believe what he saw. Boom! Limo finally knocked the wild boar to the ground, looked at Feng Judian, and waved his hand gently. Hey, we meet again. Feng Judian wanted to say something, but his expression suddenly changed because countless rats neighed in the surrounding jungle. Oh no, this dark-haired rat has attracted its companions. Feng Judian's expression changed. He was still wondering just now. This dark-haired rat is obviously a social animal, so why is it alone? It seems that its companion is not close at all. Although I don't know your name, it's very dangerous next time. If you don't want to die, please leave here as soon as possible. Feng Judian shouted sharply. Swish, 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 accompanied by sounds of breaking through the sky. Densely packed dark-haired rats have leapt over from a distance, their sharp front teeth flashing with cold light. Blue-eyed cat, use. Feng Judian was just about to give the order. The whole world was filled with strong winds. Countless wind blades fell from the sky. The surrounding land was carved with ravines. A large number of dark-haired rats were even split into two, and a large amount of blood directly dyed the earth red. When Feng Judian saw this scene, his pupils shrank slightly and he subconsciously looked towards the sky. Only a slender dragon with a light blue body was seen swooping down from the sky. The ancient blue wind dragon, use the storm blade again. As Limo's voice sounded, the ancient blue wind dragon flaps its wings. The endless violent wind rose again, and wind blades swept away in all directions like violent storms. All the dark fur rats immediately panicked, facing the attack of the ancient blue wind dragon. They have completely lost the courage to fight next. Like the tide, it fled away into the distance. Feng Judian looked at this scene, and the blue-eyed cat with good breasts pointed at his shoulder. If the scene of Limo fighting the beast with his bare hands just now shocked him, the appearance of the ancient blue wind dragon, it made him extremely vigilant. The beast master in front of him is definitely a powerful enemy that cannot be underestimated. After Feng Judian was silent for a while, a fighting spirit flashed in his eyes, and he said to Limo, "My name is Feng Judian, your name is?" "Limo, I'm from Tianfang City." "Very good, I remember your name. I'm waiting for you at Imperial College. I'm very much looking forward to the battle with you." Feng Judian left these words, and after a few leaps, he disappeared into the woods. Zongchen. Do you want to be so good? The corner of Limo's mouth twitched, and finally he shook his head. But he also knew it. If it weren't for the fact that private fights are prohibited here, the other party is probably going to take action against him. This is definitely a man who is very keen on fighting. A huge canyon lies in front of the Wanren Mountains. The topography of this canyon is very special. It almost covers most of the 10,000 Blades mountain range. So here it is. It is also the only way for all students to leave the Wanren Mountains. In the canyon, several tables had already been set up, and some people were recording something. They all wore uniforms of the Imperial Wind Academy. Tell me, how many people will successfully pass the test this time? Who knows, although there are no monarch-level beasts in the 10,000 Blades Mountains, there are definitely not a few beasts that move in groups. It is absolutely dangerous to accidentally fall into their siege. Yes, there are some guys with flying beasts who think they are smart, but they don't know that the sky is more dangerous. I think when I first entered school, I almost failed. Several people were talking about it, constantly looking at the Wanren Mountains in front of them. Quiet, as members of the student union, how can you be so noisy here? A sullen-looking man snapped at them. Yes, I'm sorry, we will focus on our work. Everyone apologized quickly. Wait until the man leaves. They began to whisper again. HMPH, this guy Shui Feng has no prestige. He just relies on his good family background to join the student union. By the way, you don't know that Shui Feng's bravery was taught a lesson yesterday. Really, haha, you deserve it. The Shui family is so domineering in the entire imperial capital. This is a slap in the face. Just as everyone was talking, Li Mo has already ridden the ancient blue wind dragon and shot from a distance. Seeing this scene, several students immediately came forward to greet them. Congratulations to this student, you passed this test among the top 100 and will receive a reward of 10 credits. Please come here and register your name. When Li Mo heard this, his expression moved slightly. He is really curious. What exactly are credits? He won first place in the last Secret Realm assessment. Also earned 100 credits. Just when Li Mo was about to ask something, he felt an undisguised malice. He turned around subconsciously and saw Shui Feng walking towards him. What an ancient blue wind dragon. It seems that my brother was injured by you. Shui Feng stared at Li Mo, his eyes becoming a little fierce. Oh, it turns out that loser is your brother. You should keep your dog on a leash and don't let him come out to bark. Li Mo's expression changed, and he immediately understood the other person's identity, and sarcastically made fun of him. What did you say? Shui Feng stepped forward, a flash of color in his eyes. If you want to have a private fight here, I can accompany you to the end. Li Mo looked cold, with a sneer at the corner of his mouth. Hesitation flashed across Shui Feng's face, and then he glared at Li Mo fiercely, picked up Li Mo's registration form, and said, Very good, very good. Your name is Li Mo, right? College life is very long. We can settle our accounts slowly. After saying that, Shui Feng turned around and left. This classmate, everything has been taken care of, but you have offended senior Shui Feng, so you should take care of yourself next. A student handed the required materials to Li Mo and warned kindly. Thanks for the reminder. Li Mo nodded with a smile, took the materials with a smile, and walked forward. Whether it's Shui Ren or Shui Feng. In fact, he didn't take it seriously at all. Such a character. There is no way to go very far on the road to becoming a strong person. Li Mo moved forward slowly with the ancient blue wind dragon. Wait until you get out of the mountain pass. I immediately felt a sense of enlightenment. Right in front of them, there was a huge statue. It's obviously just a statue. But it gives people a feeling of oppression. Is this the principal of Imperial College, one of the most powerful men in the human world, Peng CFDB Wanyang? Li Mo looked at the statue and felt the invisible pressure, but he also exuded an invisible momentum. You must be the same as the other person, or even surpass the other person. Not long after Li Mo left, Feng Judian's figure also came here. He looked at the statue in front of him, a burning look flashed in his eyes. Imperial College, the top institution in the world, with all its peerless geniuses, wait for me. After a while, another figure came slowly. This man has a rugged figure and an exceptionally tall figure, as if he does not look like a student. He stopped in front of Peng Wanyang's statue, with a look of fanaticism on his face. Ha ha ha, just wait, there is definitely a place for me in Rikangshan among the most powerful men in this world. Baikang Mountain passed the statue, and the heroic laughter continued to echo in the canyon. This is Imperial College. Li Mo looked at the countless buildings not far ahead and his eyes widened slightly. The so-called Imperial College. Not so much the academy. Rather, it is a city. At least he has the floor space. Compared to Tianfeng City, I'm afraid it's not much different. This classmate, please come with me. A member of the student union came over quickly. The student walked away. He was still introducing it proudly. Our various facilities at Imperial College can be said to be very complete. We have a lava zone where fire-attributed beast masters can practice, which has the effect of getting twice the result with half the effort. There is also a gravity room. If you have a beast master or a beast master who wants to improve your physical fitness, this is definitely the best choice. There is also a spiritual energy space, which is full of spiritual energy formations. As long as you practice there, you can greatly increase the speed of spiritual energy cultivation. There is also a perception room. If you encounter a bottleneck, you can make a breakthrough there, which can definitely reduce a lot of resistance. If you, classmate, need new beast taming eggs, we also have a place here that specializes in selling beast taming eggs. The quality of the beast taming eggs inside is definitely not comparable to those outside. Of course, these facilities must be used with credits. After hearing this student's introduction, Limo also nodded secretly and said, "So this is the function of credits." Said without politeness, "This is the foundation of Imperial College, the highest institution of learning. There are so many facilities. You can say it without any politeness. Even if you are a pig, as long as you have enough credits and practice here for a few years, you will be a rare strong person outside." It seems that the next goal is to earn a lot of credits. Limo looked at the void wood on the screen, a burning color flashed in his eyes. As long as Xiaomo can evolve again, his strength will definitely improve dramatically. Limo took out the food for Xiaomo and the ancient blue wind dragon from the space ring and started to prepare it. Wait until they have eaten and drank enough. He took them back to his own beast space. Limo frowned slightly and walked towards the window. In his psychic perception, a figure was coming quickly towards his direction. "Limo, I'm here, can you fight with me?" A thick voice slowly came from outside. Limo looked down outside the window and immediately saw Feng Judian's figure. "There's no problem in fighting you, I just don't know if there's any benefit." Limo leaned on the window and said with some fun. "What do you want?" Feng Judian frowned slightly and said in a deep voice. "I don't know if you have credits. How about betting on the credits?" Limo immediately put forward his conditions. "This kind of thing. It is also allowed in Imperial College. Credits can be said to be the money of Imperial College. As long as it's not forced. Can be used to make various transactions. Okay, I can give you 100 credits. As long as you beat me, all these credits will be yours." "Good." Limo's eyes lit up. He jumped down from the window and said to Feng Judian. "Imperial College does not allow casual fighting. Let's go to a special battlefield." "Good." Next, Limo followed the map display on his student ID card and started walking on the road with Feng Judian. Although it was already evening, but there are still countless students coming and going. After a while, Limo and Feng Judian have arrived at the battle site. It was also very lively here at this time. In some venues, beast-controlling battles are in full swing. All around were people joining in the fun. "Come on, summon your beast." Feng Judian gently raised his hand and let the blue-eyed cat jump onto the field. "Don't be so impatient." Limo smiled, and with a thought, the five-pointed star array appeared, and the ancient blue wind dragon's figure slowly walked out of it. Roar! The ancient blue wind dragon roared. The loud roar of the dragon continued to echo in the air. "Look, everyone, it turns out to be the Dragon Clan. And his opponent seems to be a blue-eyed cat of monarch-level descent. I'm really lucky today to encounter such a high-level matchup." The movement caused by the ancient blue wind dragon immediately attracted the attention of most people, and countless people quickly ran around the venue to watch the battle. Facing the gazes of the people around them, both Limo and Feng Judian seemed undecided, as if they only had eyes for each other. "Ancient blue wind dragon, dragon's breath," Limo ordered from his heart. The ancient blue wind dragon opened its mouth directly, and the dragon's breath that seemed to destroy everything swept out instantly, completely bombarding the ground in front of it to pieces. "Blue-eyed cat, stay away." Feng Judian remained calm and let the blue-eyed cat use its extremely flexible movements to dodge easily. "Blue-eyed cat, flying hair needle." The hair all over the body of the blue-eyed cat stood on end, like a violent storm, shooting in the direction of the ancient blue wind dragon. Ancient blue wind dragon, storm blade. Endless strong winds blew up, and wind blades instantly cut through the sky. Boom, boom, boom. The two attacks continued to collide in midair. There were even more cracks appearing in the surrounding ground. All of a sudden, the two appeared to be evenly matched. The ancient blue wind dragon, combined with 3. Limo remained calm and gave the order from his heart again. In an instant, the 7 wind blades spurted out by the ancient blue wind dragon began to merge rapidly in midair. Whoosh! The sharp edge that tore through everything instantly cut through countless flying needles. A bottomless crack was cut into the ground below. He actually has such a trick. Feng Judian's expression changed. The attack of the ancient blue wind dragon is very powerful. Even standing far away, he felt the pain of his skin tearing open. Use all your strength to block it, and the blue-eyed cat will use shadow kill. Following Feng Judian's order, the shadow under the green-eyed cat began to twist quickly, and finally rose into the sky like a wave, completely covering his whole body. Boom! The wind blade hit the blue-eyed cat's body hard. The shadow covering his whole body began to fluctuate violently, but it resisted the invasion of the wind blade. It actually blocked it. Limo looked a little surprised, but still said, "But even so, it's just a death struggle." The ancient blue wind dragon, elemental amplification, 7 blades combined into 1. Limo's voice sounded. The violent wind in the battlefield began to become more violent. A more powerful and huge wind blade, easily tearing apart the sky. Oops! Feng Judian's expression changed, spiritual energy surged all over his body, and the seals of his hands kept changing, and finally he pushed forward. 0. Buzz! A huge light curtain appeared on the battlefield, blocking the path that the wind blade must pass through. Boom! Accompanied by a huge roar. This light curtain was torn open easily. The blue-eyed cat's figure was also completely enveloped by the huge wind blade. Boom! There was a huge earthquake on the battlefield. The figure of the blue-eyed cat also flew out upside down. Meow! The blue-eyed cat gave a weak cry, and regardless of the injuries all over his body, he still assumed a fighting posture. Do we still need to continue fighting? Limo did not let the ancient blue wind dragon take action again, but looked at Feng Judian. Feng Judian looked at the seriously injured blue-eyed cat, hesitated for a moment, and then said, "I lost this time." Although the fight only lasted a few rounds, he could already see the difference between the blue-eyed cat and the ancient blue wind dragon. Keep fighting. It doesn't make any sense either. Feng Judian took out his student card and transferred 100 credits to Limo. Thank you. Limo nodded with a smile, took back the ancient blue wind dragon, and started to go to the dormitory. So strong. Everyone looked at Limo's leaving figure with fear in their eyes. This is a first-year campus, so most of the people here are freshmen. The strength shown by Limo. It is indeed an overwhelmingly powerful river. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.